Check. Is this thing on? Shout out to everybody here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Bitcoin with a nice pump, 63.8. I see liquidity above us all the way up to 65, 64, 800. Looks like the shorts are running scared. Shorts get liquidated on CPI data is the headline, but we saw the long before the CPI data. Show me the charts, and I'll show you the news. The charts give you the news, man. I'm telling you right now, that's how it happens. That's what goes on. Shout out to all my beautiful people here on the live. Thank you for jumping on in. Appreciate you all for being here. Shout out to my crypto lifers. Sharing your most precious asset with me, which is your time. Without your time, there is no show. Viewership booms to the upside. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you guys for being here. Not financial advice. Nothing I say and do should be taken as financial advice. Jump on in today with the Crypto Lifer. I made $1,800, $1,750 this morning when I woke up in my jammies. I was still in my undies. No, but seriously, in my pajama pants. I was up $1,800. You know, I started the morning. I went to bed last night. So let me explain how it happened. I'm watching the charts, and I like to tell the story of how I made money overnight in my sleep. I think it's an important story. It's a good story. It's a strong story. It's a beautiful story. I did make one mistake. I've done it like, I think 6 times out of the 2,000 days that I've run the Discord, so I apologize. So here's the altcoin section, live for altcoins, and sometimes I'm in there, and then I go upstairs, I get called up, my wife's like, yeah, I need you for the baby. I run up, then I come back down, and I realize, look, I did my Bitcoin update in here at 8:59, my video update, but I do an at everyone. And so everyone gets an indication when I do it at everyone. So even if it's in the wrong place, it's still at everyone, right? And then I say I took a long here, and I'm giving you the entry there. It's 62, around, I got in like 367, 62.5. And I'm looking for the break back to the upside. And again, it doesn't look like that. You can hit the TradingView link, and it's going to be nice and big for you. I would never give you a tiny little. This is awesome, and it gives you all the detail. It gives you the stop loss, which is 61,820. Gives you the entry, which is right there, 62,564. And it gives you where to get out at 63,362 if we get there, and maybe higher. You know what I mean? Maybe we plow through that, but it's telling me we're about to bounce to the upside on this double bottom, and Bitcoin could boom. So I decided to get into that trade and share it with everybody. And every time I get into a trade and I share it, there's a risk. What if it doesn't play out? There's a risk there, right? When you run a trading group. But I know that my strategies and what I do play out so much. So, you know, and the bullish long was to get in even earlier. That's daring. I waited for confirmation. I waited for the 4-hour candle to close. You see, at around 8 o'clock. And then I looked to make sure the candle was still sturdy. And so I told everyone at 12 to wait for the 4-hour, and I told everyone at 4 to wait for the 8 p.m. candle. And then I did my update right there at 8:59 to kind of explain what I see happening and why I saw us going further, you know, getting a reversal back to the upside. I said we're in the green, 12:37. I'm up. Well, I was up at 1 in the morning last night. Before I went to bed, I must have, I guess I didn't realize I was up that late, but I'm back up at 7 in the morning. Look, 7 hours of sleep, hosting. And bang, I'm up 565 as the morning starts. Next thing you know, I look up and I see this, CPI data comes in and I see this monster pump to the upside for Bitcoin. Let's talk about it. 0%. Core CPI 2.6 down from 2.8. Lower than forecast. Way lower than forecast. 3 pips, man. 0.4 to 0.1. And it was 0.5 previous. I mean, that's a huge lowest point. That's like, man, that's a swing and a half. And then instead of 4.2 down to 3.5 in away from forecast. Amazing information. And now, right now, we have WALSH testifying as we speak. We may put that up too as well. So we'll see, because that's another contention, and that's going to be swinging the markets a little bit as he kind of talks. Beat looks like it's about to break out. I have a little trade on it going. I'll be nice enough to share it with you. And this is kind of for the trading group. People are die-hard lifers here. So if you're at CryptoLifer.com and you're part of the Discord, I get a little friendly in July. I get a little nice in July. I might give a little more than I usually give in July because I'm with my family. It's the 1 month where I put a lot of time into my, I put time into my kids all the time. Don't get me wrong. But it's all about my kids this entire month. Like, I love my kids, man. I spend a lot of time with them. And it is what it is. It's like their time to have dad no matter what. And look, I still made close to $2,000 in my sleep. You don't have to stare at the markets all day. I can teach you. Some people say, oh, I'm so busy. I can teach you how to how to get around, being busy. I can show you how to handle a life where even though you're busy, you can do it. Even though you're busy, you can do it. All right. I do have the testimony right here by Kevin Walsh. And I believe we might listen. I like Kevin Walsh. I like hearing what he has to say. I like the way he handles questions. It's interested for me to see. But we'll see, I hear him talking. I kind of maybe want to play it in the background for now. So we'll bring the music down.
Individuals and households in the private sector to ensure that the American economy excels far into the future. Now at the Fed, our number one objective is getting monetary policy right. That's our clear and constant.
I'm just going to have that play. Oh, I just can't.
Star we steer by.
We'll get to him in a second, I think. We'll ask you guys, do you want to see Kevin Walsh during the stream, or do you want to see the lifer? Do you want Walsh or lifer? And that's just for now, but do you want Walsh or lifer? Let us know. You guys control the stream. You guys are the executive producers. Let us know if you want to see. I kind of like it, but, because he doesn't talk all the time. But we'll see. Walsh live, finally, now Powell. I know CPI is lower, but things don't seem any cheaper. No, they don't. Dude, all this is semantics with the numbers. At the end of the day, to me, yeah, they're going to continue to print money over time. They're just going to continue to print money over time. That's it. That's all you have to know. If you stick with that mentality, you're going to be okay. So look, huge move. Look, a bit of a shoulder. Head, right shoulder. Looks better on maybe the 1 hour and the 15. And that's why I use different time frames. You can start to see information here starting to form. Look, the 21 forming. And if you use my strategies on the 1 minute, we cross the 200 moving average on the 1 minute time frame. That's when you know something's going on. And then we flag out. How many times have you heard me say we flag? Wait. How many times in this channel have you guys heard me say we flag out on the 1 minute? We touch the 21 above the 200. Look at that. That is a beautiful entry there. Right before CPI, you get in, and boom, CPI comes in hot. Then we have kind of a head and shoulder here. We're kind of chopping around. I sold my trade, baby. I sold my trade. So we got 53 to 43 on 80 votes. Let's get in 1,000 votes if we can. All right. Can we go by both him on lower volume? I prefer you, though, Sammy. I like my 4-year-old changing to the rules game, so she does. Yeah, exactly. Are you enjoying the stream? Show your appreciation. Hit that like button. Endless times. 3,005. Yeah, how many times have I said the 21 hits the 200? The 21 hits the 200. The 21 hits the the 21 above the 200. 21 crosses the 200. This is it. That's my entry. You guys know how I do it. Go to the 5-minute time frame. Make it a bigger flag. Look at this. Look at the creative energy here. This is art. This is creative artistry here, Artistry, baby. Artistry. And look at that. Beautiful pump to the upside. The 21 above the 200. Well above the measured move. Actually, the measured move can be this. I've learned it's this entire leg. Wick to wick, algorithmic measured move. Boom. That's, you know what I mean? And then you get the spike up with the bear div. As the RSI swings down, the price swings up, you get shaded bearish divergence. You get shaded RSI. When the RSI gets shaded, you got to know it's time to take some profito. Wow, it's a battle right now. More people want lifer than Walsh. Okay, I get it. Hey, I don't know. So beautiful pump there, 21 above the 200. I teach you guys this every single day. Nice triple bottom, 1, 2, 3. Nice double bottom there off of the placement. And then you could have been just like me and got in on the 4-hour time frame, early bird style, before the whole pump happened. Like I gave you guys the trade right there at about, 62, 5. Now, how do you make the money? It's easy to talk about how do you make the money. And we went to a high of about 64,188. I sold 63.8. That's about where I got out. It shows you right here. 63,764. I might have got a little more, but that's, and there's the trade right there. I believe it was also posted to X. And what I like about today, too, is they fired missiles in the Strait of Hormuz. They did all this funny business, and Bitcoin doesn't care. It pumps on good CPI. So it's locked into its own it's locked into the world liquidity. But there you go, 1757, and we rocketed up to the upside. You can say whatever you want. I'm live every single day. Hi to my haters. So many people, I don't know why, like, I get into a few bad trades and people like to laugh at me. I think it's hilarious because I'm going to show up every single day and I'm definitely going to beat down anyone who talks ish. And not with my fists or violence, just with constantly showing up every day. I'm going to beat you down with consistency. I'm more consistent than you, so you get pissed inside. It's easy to take a shot at me because I'm out here every day. But God bless everyone that is always supporting me no matter what, holding me down and being awesome. I appreciate that. And if you want to hang out with me, we make gains. I proved to you again that the long I gave last night in the Discord played out to the upside. Perfect place to enter, perfect place to put a stop loss, and got very close to the target within a few $100. I mean, what else can you ask for? So, and we may not be done yet. We're going to do a top-down analysis for you to show you where we're going on the bigger picture. We're going to show up every single day, 7 days a week, and we're never going to stop giving you guys the information you need to become amazing in this trading style. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for jumping on in. I appreciate everybody for being here. And let's jump on into it. Let me get the link out to the Discord. I always think it's there, and then I look and I realize it's not. If you didn't make gains and you want to learn how, you got to keep showing up with the lifer. Listen, you only have to hit 3 out of 10 trades to be profitable. I easily do that many times over, right? So even on a bad week, when you see me lose a few more times, I'm going to clean it up. So look, I took care of every gain that I lost yesterday when I took that long call down Sunday night. We're back. I got all the money back and more. So no stress. We are live. Let's go, lifers. And lifers, this is where more people are off the screens than ever, where more people are just, YouTube in general has lower viewership in the summer. So I need as many likes as we can get. We need as many people to show up as we can get. We need to push the limit here for the lifer community. We need to see what the lifer community can really do here. We're putting, this is a stress test for us. Just like Bitcoin, So we're looking for Bitcoin to kind of break out. Again, the 4-hour is back above the 200 with the 21. To me, I do not short when 21 is above the 200 with price action. And so I'm still in the weekly and the monthly longs that I've told you about. I've never wavered from those. Once on BTCC. All right. It's not up huge right now. It's up $100. It was up maybe almost 1,500. But again, it doesn't matter. It's about structure. All that matters is that we don't ever take out these lows in the wick. I'm going 5,000 for 50,000. We'll see where it goes. I got the guts to sit there and call a bottom with my money and not just call a bottom with my mind. It's the bottom. I'm telling you right now, I've been buying Bitcoin, about 28K worth of Bitcoin just the other day in front of the trading group. And, this was at 5, man. Twice. If that's not one of the greatest places to buy Bitcoin, then I don't know when it is. So you do whatever makes you happy, but man, this was at 5 in the stochastics RSI. We're below the dotted line. I got to tell you, on the 2-week chart, that to me is a golden opportunity to buy Bitcoin. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. No one's going to believe me till we finally go back above. I've been through this before. This channel has been through this before. We've gotten to a point where people are like, they give up. I'm calling the bottom. I'm telling everyone this is it. I'm buying whole Bitcoins, and they're just like, next thing you know, everyone's back watching us. Remember when we hit 21,000? We had almost 25. When we hit 21K this time, I remember we had 2,200, 2,500 people that night watching the channel. Somewhere in here, we hit a few 5,000 viewership days where there was 5,000 people watching the stream at once, non-botted. It was out of control. And then we regularly had 1,800 to 2,500 people every single day up until around here. And then things started to kind of slowly, right? And then people got disinterested, and now people are just kind of like, eh. And again, this is very similar to here, where people are just, they can't handle it anymore. They're psychologically beat down. You have to have been beat down like I am. Like when my mom died in front of me, that's a psychological beatdown, folks. Have your mom die in front of you. Again, I hope she never does. God bless you. But, have that experience like I did. You think the charts will ever be able to drain you as much as that happening? No. And once you have the power of God, you're close to God, you've been through the trauma I've been through, you can make it through almost anything, no matter what. It does not matter. And remember, we were talking about this being a little bit of a flag. And I think a lot of people think my TA is crazy and insane because it doesn't follow the rules like everybody else. I tweak, I move, I spin. It's Kung Fu, man. Kung Fu doesn't stay stagnant. You don't keep your body in the same form like this. As the fight moves, you start to move. As price action moves, I start to move. I start to become Bruce Lee with the charts. That's how I talk about it. That's how I feel about it. Anyway, let's take a look at the bigger picture for Bitcoin. Let me swing into the smaller picture. I made 1844. I made even more than that 1757, see? And I'm still in the S&P trade. I'm in a beat trade right now that's beat, but we'll see. I never like to trade altcoins. I don't do it. It's very rare. Funny, there I go. Every time I do it, it's like, I should just only, I'm nice on Bitcoin, so I should just only trade BTC. Every once I see a nice setup, I mean, 21 above the 200 looks good. Very volatile coin, though. I know anything could happen. Yeah, so, and I'm just chilling on Bitcoin right now. It's in some chop. It may go higher. You know, we could kind of start to draw something like this and start to flag it out, possibly. And this is a possibility for sure. But what I want to do is just be happy that I made the gains right now. Dear Lord, thank you so much that I was able to figure out how to trade with a good education. Thank you. I had good management. And last night I started trading and I woke up this morning. I used to make $1,800 a week, dear Lord. Thank you so much. I made $1,800 overnight. I mean, it took 1 hour of me watching the charts and I had to move my stop loss. But the only thing I had to do this morning is watch the stop loss. I sat down on my chair at the perfect time, saw the pump at the perfect time. Today was an interesting morning, all right? I had to meet a contractor, too, that came over the house, so this morning was a little disrupted. You know what I mean? But we got it done. Shout out to Charlie, man. God bless you, brother. Good guy. I hope to work with him in the future many, many more times. So, look, we have this bullish divergence. Let's take a look at the monthly. Monthly looks good to me. I like what's happening on the monthly chart. You know, and, you know, that what we're saying is that's your bottom for our next leg to the upside where we hit 162 by September of 2028. It's going to take some time. We're looking for this to turn into an inverted head and shoulder, a blocky one. By November 1st, we start to turn the corner here and we get out and we boom. And it's going to be a long couple of months. It's going to be 4 or 5 months, folks. We're going to get through it together. We're going to make it every single day. Look, this looks like it might give you an inverted head and shoulder pump to the upside there. It's an inverted head and shoulder. You can clearly see it. Bitcoin's on a bit of a rampage here. Kevin Dorsch could be Wovish, could be Wovish. Kevin Dorsch could be Hovish. Could be Wovish. Kevin Dorsch could be dovish. I mean, he's saying things that are dovish, right? We got to kind of have to listen to him in a second, I think, no matter what I want to do here. But let's finish the top down. Let's see how the chat is going. What's up with the people there with the poll? 64 to 36. They want life or over WALSH. Everything knows Kung Fu fighting, right? You gave that ETH setup yesterday. It ripped. Let's go. Thank you. I used to make 1,800 a week. That was hard. Thank God I made it in a day now. 100%, man. Yeah, dear Lord, I used to make $1,800 a week. You helped me make it in a day. You've changed my life. You've helped me see something. You've helped me gain an education through the charts in a way I've never thought possible. I'm so thankful, so grateful, so loving, so kind, so sweet that God gave me such a life, man. I dreamed of not being behind the desk and doing someone else's bidding. I dreamed of being my own star, my own show, running my own financial podcast, my own financial show here on YouTube, talking about the charts, and I'm not a financial advisor. 127 gain on Sol last night. Thank you, Sammy, my man. How many people made gains using the Lifer strategy? How many people want to say thank you to Sammy? Let me know, man. Let it out. Say thank you, Sammy. Made gains, just like this guy saying thank you so much. Let the world know how much you learn inside the Discord. Let the world know how much you gain by being here. Brad loads a link yesterday. Each dip buying and glad I stomached it. I like to hear that, man. Hey, I'm not a financial advisor, but that's something I grab a big old, a lot of link. Rule your mind or it will rule you 100%. Shout out to the blues guy. Take control or life will take control of your life. And you can trade on WEEX right here with our pinned comment. Same place I traded. Or join the trading group at CryptoLifer.com. Go to CryptoLifer.com to find out more, man. Hit the subscribe button. And you can hit the quarterly, the basic, or the annual. I'm here every day, 7 days a week, man. I did thank you, Sammy. You're a godsend for us. Very appreciated, man. Thank you so much. God bless you. Yeah, I feel bad. Some people in the trading group I guess they were like, I don't know what they were, but they were putting question marks up here. If you're putting a question mark, let us help you. Yeah, I was like, who made gains on the long with me from last night? And this guy, like a bunch of question marks. Let us help you guys. We're going to help Frapp, Shaquille O'Neal, Rems, Aria, Andre. We got to help Erwick. Also, I guess you didn't see that Erwick is my number one man. I don't know how you didn't see it. But these people all put a thumbs up. they're with it. Shaquille Oatmeal, he put a question mark, but he also put a thumbs up. I'm confused. Anyway, some people missed it maybe. Some people were like, I'm going to learn from it. And other people like, I printed like my man Chef 333. God bless the lifers. But if you put a question mark, I love you guys. Just keep showing up. I don't know why you put a question mark. We'll be there for you. I think it's because it accidentally got posted in the alt section, but it put at everyone. So you're getting told every single time. Anyway, it's time stamped. I'm here 7 days a week. The only thing you can do is fumble on, whatever you want, but I'm going to be here every single day. It's hard to be consistent with someone who's consistent every day, right? It's like I'm a treadmill. You got to run. You got to keep up with me on that treadmill. I got my life moving at the speed of light, man. Do you want to move with me? You got to show up every day. You got to work out every day. You got to keep your mind flowing. You got to keep your brain going. You got to keep the blood flowing. You can't rely on, you got to have action. You got to beat that cortisol back. You can't be living in stress. You can't be living in fear. You got to believe. Fear is for the non-believers, baby. I believe that God's behind me. The best power in the universe is behind me. I am wonderful. I am powerful. Use I am. Say those words right now. Repeat after me. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm repeat after me. I am amazing. I am the best thing that ever happened to my family's lineage. I am going to change the way my family learns. I am going to push it to the upside. Look at Bitcoin getting that pump. Right now, out that flag, 63.93. Wow, man. And it's going higher, man. Hey, Lifer, can you hit me with 50K? I'll help you. I'll give you the knowledge to make 50K if you push yourself to the limit and get disciplined. I learned patience, taking losses, and profit, but most of all, there's a skill, not gambling. That's what you taught me. 100%, man. It's going to take time. I'm wonderful. I'm amazing. I am amazing. I like it. Keep saying positive things about yourself. Use I am as much as you can and say, I am amazing. I am blessed. I can. I will. Speak in positive affirmation for yourself. You deserve it. Be your best friend. Work a strong mental state. Become disciplined. You got to make it through these tough times. You're all you have. Your family's depending on you to become amazing. Get off the pharmaceuticals. Get off the drugs. Stop making excuses for why you're pumping yourself with stuff. Get yourself on a regimen. Start exercising. Start fasting. Do 3-day water fast. Start using binders to get rid of the parasites. Start parasite cleansing. Get yourself on a new level. Get rid of the gut. Get yourself feeling amazing. Bitcoin is pumping. Looks like it's headed to 64,300. Out this little flag. Look, inverted head and shoulder. We just showed you this thing was looking good. It's the 21 above the 200. I'm still inside a trade right now on BTC ripping up 362. And I'm in another trade on another exchange. I'm the first millionaire in my family. I love hearing that. Chat, our ETH is duplicating. Look at our daily chart. Hard not to FOMO the life savings. I mean, ETH looks amazing. Let's talk about Ethereum. We talked about ETHBTC. We said ETH looks like it's about to rip to the upside out this flag. I gave you the call for ETH right there to get in at 1779. It's at 1878. $100 move for Ethereum is a big pump. You could have made a lot of money on that call to the upside for Ethereum. And look, it was an Adam and Eve double bottom with the move. I called this for you guys. I put it out there. The daily looked good. The 4-hour looked good. And it says we're headed to the 200 moving average on the daily time frame. 4-hour poking out. Now, if you're missing out or you want to get down, look for the 1 hour or the 15-minute to make some type of flag and reconnect to the 21. Nice pump for Ethereum. Shout out to anyone that jumped on in or is beginning their position in Ethereum. Beautiful move today for ETH. Hey, what do you think of stacking Master versus Bitcoin? I have Bitcoin, but was thinking of adding some stocks. More leverage, more business. Like if you, God forbid anyone ever loses a seed phrase or anything, and you have some Master sitting there on an exchange, I think, the old me was Bitcoin all day. Bitcoin hardware wallet, don't give your money anywhere else. But it's pretty clear, like, you could probably keep Master stock for 10 or 20 years, and no one's going to take it from you, like, unless you lose your password or something, And it does give, or strategy stock, right? Because it does give a yield. And it pays you to hold it while you speculate on the asset, you also get paid to hold it. So, like, let's just say back in the day, I would have put 100 into Bitcoin, 100%. I might put 25% into strategy or Master now. I didn't do that, I have to be honest, because I got Bitcoin so low so early, I don't really have to make that decision anymore. I just stack more Bitcoin. But I think about it sometimes, and if I were given this position, I think I would go 75-25, maybe even 70-30. I don't think I'd go any lower than that, though. Yeah, I accumulated a crazy ton of ETH below 1,700. I like it, man. One could argue you have more legal projections for people stealing your master than your Bitcoin. Agreed, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I said the same, you know what I mean? Yes. Facts. Yeah, some people say they go all master or strategy. They want it, you know what I mean? They don't want to deal with it. I get it. I mean, honestly, you could analyze it through opportunity cost. It would have been where you live, who you are. There's a bunch of different factors, right? I wouldn't touch strategy. It's struggling. That's when I would buy something when it's struggling, yeah. That's when you want to buy. When retail says I wouldn't touch it, that's when you want to be buying it. Personally, I'm just being honest. Like, you want to buy an asset when it's distressed. You don't want to buy it when everyone thinks it's amazing. Look at strategy. I mean, and it's on the mend right now. That's an inverted head and shoulder. Bitcoin just ripped out of this thing. Similar idea. I wouldn't be surprised if this thing breaks back to the upside, crosses that 200, and you're back at 109. And you're back to your $100 peg pretty soon. So not only do you make money on the peg getting back, but you also get money on the dividend that gets extended when the peg goes down. Sam, every time I say something to my inner circle about the market, you repeat it on the live. The universe is telling me I'm on the right path, man. You're spot on, Shantan. But I'd rather trade BTC. Hey, whatever makes you happy. No one's forcing you to do anything. Shout out to Kevin Leone. Anyone here know when the exact Clarity Act, when the next Clarity Act? I mean, they're trying to get it done by end of summer, but I just feel like it could be 2030. But, you know, Trump wants to push it. Trump is pushing for it. So we will see. Trump is pushing for it, but, you know, only time will tell. Only time will tell. U.S. and Iran and ME conflicts fuel risk off. Bitcoin tests 63 support with heavy liquidations. Bounces on CPA data, though. Geopolitical escalations from U.S. and Iran and wider Middle East conflicts are driving clear risk-off pressure. Amazing what Bitcoin did despite all that. U.S. government wants wallets transferred 3,800 Bitcoin and 3,000 ETH worth about $280 million to Coinbase from older seizure cases, including Bitcoin and others. Why don't they just keep it, though? Maybe they're leaving it there. Traders could care because the exchange deposits opposite sales. You know? That's not even that much Bitcoin, though. It's really not a big deal. Bitcoin dropped more than 1% to hover near 63. Microsailors bought no Bitcoin since June. Sold Bitcoin. They actually got more USD reserves to $3 billion, which covers over 20 months of preferred dividends and debt interest. So they wanted to get that reserve ready to go, letting you know that you're getting paid on your strategy no matter what. No stress. Still moving here out of this flag to the upside of the 1 minute time frame. If you did take the Sammy special, the Sammy call here, the 21 above the 200 with the pump to the upside. Shout out to people that have learned from me and are out there. Teach it and preach it, man. I appreciate that. Anyone believe in Polkadot? Tempting to buy now. I would never touch Polkadot again. Even if it pumps, man, I'm all set. Have you heard about all of Velez? No, I haven't. Yeah. How far down would you hold a coin percentage-wise? I mean, it depends. I've been down pretty bad a few times, and I've made it through. Bitcoin panic selling may be ending as net sale collapses. On-chain data shows spot net selling slowed from nearly 2,000 per day to just 53 a day so far in July. You have to remember, when they heavily sell, eventually they stop. When an asset this big even starts a little bit of a slowdown, we can see it in the on-chain data. You get what I'm saying? Traders should note that while painful short-term, it can reduce forced selling and set up cleaner moves once macro or geopolitical noise settles, right? Thousands of traders are wiped out amid the risk-off move. This leverage flush often cleans the market of overextended positions, right? And I got hit too when they went down that night, you know. The key is to not get liquidated and just lose a little bit of money because you know what you could lose. Anyway, I get this awesome feed. This is curated by me and my team and has all the information you need every single day here. U.S. budget hits $120 billion on tariff refunds, narrower than the prior month's $293 billion, but a sharp swing from last June's surplus, driven by nearly $50 billion in tariff refunds after legal rulings. Damn, man. We had to give back $120 billion. It's kind of pointless. Why would our own country rule against us to give back money unless, you know, it sounds communist to me. They don't reply to emails, and I don't truly think he does. Yeah. They don't, I don't think. The Crypto Taco all just hype. Someone didn't reply to your emails? Are you serious? That's insane. Make sure someone replies to the email. I'll make sure today, but I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't reply to your email. You're going to CryptoLifers with an S at Gmail. Some people forget the S, and then they say we don't reply. Yeah. I've given every single, every time we've given it away, we've nailed it. We've given it away. Yeah. If you don't believe me, you can give me a Tether address right now, and I'll give you $100 right now just to prove it on the stream, man. Like I have my phone. No, I need my phone. Trade now on WEEX. Crypto Taco, dude, double check the email address. Yeah, man. I'm here 7 days a week, bro. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I love this. People get what happens is people have been scammed so much in their life that they're just convinced that everything is a scam no matter how good it is. Because this guy's a super awesome supporter of the channel. No, I'm good. I truly don't want anything. Just give it to someone. I don't understand. All right, whatever. Then why come? I love you, man, but why come and complain, say I didn't do something, and then when I say I'm going to make it right, say, no, you don't want it. I don't get it. Anyway, God bless you, bro. I appreciate it. I got the wallet you sent me as a gift. See? Thank you. He got the wallet. Sam, what's good? I'm also living on an island, man, for like the last 2 months. I'm not sitting in a big city in a municipal place. I'm on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere. Like, it's not that simple for me. But we still have shipped things. We still are shipping things out. Right? Was reading about today an intra in the trading of the zone. Exactly. Could you please take a look at ADA? Can you check ETH? Yes. Bitcoin's still doing good on the 1 minute time frame. We're going to keep you up to date. Let's get to that 2-week chart. So I use the 2-week to accumulate Bitcoin long term. Every time the stochastics are higher below the dotted line, I buy more Bitcoin. That's it. And I see bullish divergence on Bitcoin too as well in the 2-week. The RSI itself is moving to the upside while price is moving down. That's a screaming buy on the 2-week chart. It's very rare. The last time we saw it on the 2-week chart was right here. So I didn't mean to make that line at all. Was right here. You can see it's the same thing. The RSI is in the same place. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. There's a lot of speculators out there. 64,000 for Bitcoin, everybody. Looking nice. And it honestly is almost proposing that it's going to continue. Like, it's almost saying it might be giving another entry here. It's high risk, but that's the 21 curving above the 21. And Bookmap is giving us liquidity to the upside. What is Bookmap? It's a heat map order book. Just like if you use infrared goggles and you were looking for people in the woods and you're back there they are. What if you were scanning with infrared goggles on the market? And when there was more people in a certain area, it would tell you. That's what this does. This is awesome. It shows me the charts. It shows me what's behind the candle bodies. You see candle bodies, I see liquidity. So I trade with liquidity and order blocks. It's showing me, look, there's an order block right there. What is an order block? It's a key area of liquidity where a lot of people have shorted the market, and that's where they're going to get liquidated. Tonight, we're likely going to blow up to 64.4, and then it's going to come out tomorrow. 120 billion in shorts get liquidated, That's right there. We do this all the time, 7 days a week. I don't need anything other than what you taught, Sammy. Cook it, baby. Shout out to my man, Chef333 Lifer, and shout out to Crypto Taco, man. I love you, brother. I never want you to be upset, man. You gave it back because it was illegal to charge. What the heck? What a weirdo. I'm still waiting for my wallet. Thank you. I gave the wallet to your wife 3 weeks ago. That's crazy. She's slipping on that then. I'll have a long talk with her today because I'm not the one that ships the wallets out. And I'll say, hey, man, you got to answer the emails and you got to get it back. There's a chance it takes a long time to get there. Some people are from far away. Been email for a week. I'm not going to bet. Yeah, I don't understand why you had to do that. I'm going to have a long talk today with my wife and ask her what's happening. I am. I'm going to say, hey, what's going on? Like, why are you making me, why is this going down? It should never happen like this. Got here because Richard Barry learned from the lifer over the last half a year for the various courses and discords over the 3 years. Thank you. Shout out to my man. God bless you. Shout out to my man, Richard. He's awesome too. I never got one more than. See, that's crazy though. So you should have just said, you should have made a big deal about it though. That's crazy, man. Email us now. I'll make it right now. Email me today, bro. Please. I want you to email me today. I pay all my debts, man. I owe nobody nothing, and there's a reason for it. So let's continue with the top 10 analysis and see what's happening. And I'll find out. My wife is usually on point, too, so I don't want to come down, and I'll find out what's going on. It could be an email miss. It could be something going to spam. We'll find out. So we're above the 200 moving average. All right, on the weekly. That's a key area, man. And again, buying near the 200 of the weekly has notoriously been a great place to buy. You don't know if you're going to go lower. You could bounce right here. You don't. It could be like one of these. All I know is this is, if you're smart enough to open up your wallet around here, you're small enough to be paid somewhere up in here. And it's the same thing. If you're smart enough, fine, maybe we go lower. Maybe there's some insane, maybe we break out in a war. You know what I mean? Who knows? I don't want to project. You never know. This could right shoulder a dump, and we could get a $40,000 Bitcoin. If that's the case, I buy more, we bounce back. Before you know it, we're still up here just a little later. Maybe it just pushes us over here, you know? It's not that huge of a deal. To me, this is where you buy Bitcoin. A little bit above, a little bit below, anywhere near the 200 on the weekly. That's where you buy, and it's not just Bitcoin. This is where you buy any asset in the world, no matter what it is. Like, I can take you through 100 projects. Like, let's talk about IBM. Like, let me show you IBM. Like, where should you buy IBM? Right? You buy IBM when you're near the 200 moving average on the weekly. So the time to buy IBM was here. December of 2021, 2022. Look, it did nothing for like 3 years. It went sideways. So you accumulated on the 200 on the weekly. And if you just kept buying IBM, and then when you get far away from the 21, you start to cash out. You get in at 124, you get out at 316. It's simple stuff, man. You did it here too. But if you're a big timer, you can make one of these trades every 4 to 5 years. You see? You cash out about 2 to 3 years from maybe one of the last buys. So then you can look at the Dow Jones Industrial. You buy whenever you're near the 200 weekly. 200 weekly, 200 weekly. I mean, this is a simple game, man. I don't know why people are so confused by how to trade. You know what it is? They all want to make $100,000 on the 1 minute time frame. That's what it is. Everyone wants to make money now, immediately. They don't know how to make money over time. They don't know how to make wealth. See, I'll teach you how to make wealth. What I'm teaching, or what I'm showing is what I'm doing, is making wealth over time. I'm making wealth over time. Other people are making gains, and I'm not saying Sam, you traded you trade the 1 minute. I do, because I'm sitting here on a day-to-day basis with the knowledge. It's fun to trade the small time frames. I love trading the small time frames. I think it's awesome. So I got a skill. I like to use the skill. Makes it fun. So the weekly looks good to me. I see bullish divergence. I'm near the 200. The stochastics are making a higher low when I double click on them. They got divergence with a higher low. I mean, that's insane. So I'm seeing a lot of bullishness. This is telling me to long the weekly right now with stops below these tweezer bottoms. And you can see that even though weekly is starting to make a higher low here above the 200 moving average. Very important. I know my sauce. I've watched this and I've back tested this stuff on big and small time frames. When I tell you something, it comes from years and years of me doing it, not just from an hour, not 2 days, not 2 years, not 4 years. I'm talking over 10 years of data when I tell you something. Look, this is bull div here on the stochastics RSI with divergences. Add this to your chat. Type in RSI, not ERSI, RSI. And stochastic with divergences, right? Neobutane, boom. That's the one right there that I add, and it has the divergences added, and I found my own divergences as well. No need to stress. And then look at the 3-day chart. Putting in that work again. There's even divergence right here. Swing down while there's divergence. Like, it has small divergence and big divergence. I've been backtesting this type of divergences, and they are very strong. Learning how to trade a divergence is so important. Most people say they're going to do it, but they never do. I see this as you have your shoulder here. You got your head. You kind of have two left shoulders, but this looks like an inverted head and shoulder that's going to break out to me. The daily closes bullish engulfing today, which it's about to. Not about to, but which it looks like it can. Right? And I mean, is that not a bull flag? Isn't that not a double bottom? Is that not the measured move? Don't we see us going to the 200 moving average? Don't we have a gap here, the VRVP? Back up to the upside above the POC. Are we going to close a candle above the point of control today? Looks like we may, folks. And it looks like we have ourselves a scalp here on the 1 minute time frame. I'm about to take a little bit of what I made today and go in again. The daily's looking interesting. The 1 minute looks like it may have some moves here. Just mapping on my trade. Give me a second here. I hone in when I'm doing that. I realized, I'm like, dude, I just got so quiet. And I'm like, I forget I'm live when I'm doing that because I'm just in the zone that I'm in when I'm alone, you know? That's how I trade. I'm sitting here alone, just doing my thing. The whole world's blocked out when I'm fully focused on my trades. Shout out to my man Marcus again, gifting 10 memberships every single day this summer, bro. Bang, bang, right? Bang, bang, bang. Thank you, Marcus. God bless you, brother. I sent an email just now. God bless, Sammy. You're an inspiration. I never want to think I'm being disrespectful. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm going to make sure it gets addressed today. Today. I'm on it myself, personally. It's what the CEO of a company, man, you'll have him. Everyone says they're doing stuff, but like, especially when I'm the forefront, I have to take the blunt of it. Gets on my nerves. But it's okay. But I mean, I'm the guy that hasn't taken a day off in years. You know you want to come correct when you work with me. You want to say you're going to do something, not do it. You know that's going to get a guy that puts in 7 days a week. It's going to get him going. I don't like 265 or 576 personally. But it looks like we're going to shoot to the moon right here. I'll put it on. I don't like it. It's a kind of a, It's not my favorite trade. I don't like the risk, but extra 500. I'm only going 200 for an extra 500 bucks. We'll see what happens. I don't love it. I'm already in the bigger trades. I'm covered for the day. So I like what I'm seeing here on the daily time frame. And I've showed you why. I've showed you kind of the patterns and what's happening and what's forming. The bullish data is interesting. This is a double bottom of the 8-hour, clearly. It's a double bottom of the 4-hour, clearly. It's a beautiful double bottom. That has a measured move to the upside right there. And look, that lines up exactly with the next resistance, which is insane. It's 67,300. And again, when the moving averages get tight and you finally get back above the 200 moving average, look, that last time we did this, we went on a nice little run. All we have to do is put in a higher high here. So look. Low, higher high. Boom. Lower low. Boom. We break that. Low, boom. And then boom. And then you'll see we got boom, 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 boom. And then we start to break out. God bless the life for the best stream in trading. Shout out to Underground Cryptos of the House. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you for giving us your beautiful time on this earth, man. You don't have to dedicate your time to this channel, but you do. I hope I give you guys so much value and awesome information and just good vibes. Like, you might hear some of the same things every day, but I hope I say it with a positive light, keep you feeling good, and get everybody moving. Beautiful double bottom here to the upside. I like what I'm seeing here for Bitcoin. It suggests you're going to make a move up. I like to get in on flags in the small time frame, cultivate the move there. Beautiful cup and handle. Beautiful inverted head and shoulder. Nice little flag there. You could have caught my signal there on the 5 minute or the 1 minute. 15 minute is still in kind of a bit of a flag here, coming near that 21. Let's take a look at the 7. Now I kind of see like 1 hour's a little far for the 21. Tells me this trade may not play out. We might just get a spike, a bear div, and then it comes down lower. I don't want to give more than, I don't want to give back almost anything on this trade, personally. S&P gone. I'm still in a long on the S&P 2, which we're going to talk about. 1 minute still. So that's it. I'm just, the 1 minute still inside the beautiful flag telling me there could be a pump. 1 minute super tight in the model, 21 above the 200. I like it. I feel like it's worth going for a little bit of a scalp here. If it hits the measure move, it's going to skyrocket. We're going to hit 65. Kevin might say something so bullish right here. Price action just starts to rip. I kind of want to tune into what he's saying. 71% say no way, though, so I got to listen. 71% do not want Kevin words. They want to hear me. Embed those things in your brain and ye shall win wealth. Yeah. When I first started watching your stream years ago, I had no idea what you were talking about, but I stuck around and I'm so glad I did. Changed my life, man. God bless you. Thank you. Always, boss. Sam, you thinking we should full port 100x? I'll never tell you what to do with your money, man. My plan is to let this link long play out to see if it reaches its prior all-time high, then trade ETH back and forth, then put the profits out from ETH trades for having fun. I like it. I like it. Tip Simbada game. You're funny. Just a 1% pump. Play it. All we need is a little bit of a pump, baby. Send it, baby. Send it. It's getting a little bit of a move here. It's breaking out. Up 2.77%, up $50. I don't know if that stopped to break even as soon as, but when I win, I don't want to give any back. I get a little greedy with that win. Like, look, I only risked $200 of the $1,800 that I made. I'm playing it greedy today. Walsh has mentioned crypto over 5 times. I like it. Also, Billy Kalshi, does he say egg? Isn't that crazy? Egg was the winner. Look, $192 of the trade. I would scalp that right now. We made $200 in under 2 minutes. I think that's a smart scalp. Away for the 21 like that. Let's see. I'm still in the trade. It's ripping. They're going to get me right there in a second. Yep, they got me. I just felt like that was a good enough pump to take. I just get to add more time, more money to the day. You know? That's a good pump. I made $200 in a minute, man. 2 minutes. You put the 1 minute candle. I got into that trade, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 minutes ago? Probably going to still send. It's going to full send all the way to the upside. But who knows? And now I don't have to risk any of my money, man. Nice pump out that flag, though, to the upside. In and out, in and out. 200, 200, 200. If you take 200 every couple of minutes, I mean, that can add up over time, too. You know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing. Shout out to Week Perpetuals, man. Shout out to everyone trade on WEEX. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Hit the link if you want to trade what I trade. Trade on WEEX right now. Today, hit that link right there. It brings you in. We'll even have a beautiful demo system where you could demo trade. They'll give you 50 grand of random money and you could demo trade it. Like you could take this trade right now and it's not a real trade. You can find out what happens to it. Well, I must have made a monster trade on it. And you can find, hey, you could lose their money, fake, while you're trying to learn how to, even these buttons, you might go long instead of short, short instead of long. You never know what could happen. Like, see the 4 hour? Say you want to say, okay, what would happen if I had traded the 4 hour? It's like Sam says, this has a 68% of breaking out. So you go and you simply trade the 4 hour. You go to the long position, and I know I don't normally like buying green candles, but this is a known pattern that breaks out. It's not a risk to reward that I like. I don't like this trade personally. I would more do this. That's more the trade I would take, right? But you also have two things going. So you can say, okay, I take profits at 73,628. This also works too when you want to learn how to hold a trade long term. You could already be a good trader, but you're not good at long-term trades. So now you start doing long-term trades on this to observe them to see how they play out. What if you trade 1,000 for 3,000 all the time? You want to get to 3,000 for 9, but you're just not there yet. So you start doubling these trades when you trade the other time. You see how you do. What if after a year of doing that, your demo does really well? You decide you're ready now to go up from 1,000 for 3,000 to 3,000 for 9,000 because you demo traded it sideways to give yourself the data and the confidence to believe it can happen. So demo trading can be not just someone, not a beginner. It's for an expert trader who's adding different skills and tips You start trading a different time. Like I start trading the monthly now. You can start doing this, you know. And look, you can go 5,000 for 21 here. Open along. The liquidation is the same. It's all the same. Liquidation is down there if we get to 56. Right? How much you had to pay? 73 bucks. I mean, that's a big trade. It's 200x leverage, which I didn't notice. I've never done that. And it's funny. And it's cross combined, which I do isolated, so I didn't even see. You might have done that on a real trade one day and be like, oh, Sam trades isolated, separated. Sam trades like 30x, and you'd be like, I'm in a completely different risk setting than he is. I've been here for months just working hard. Shout out to the United States, man. God bless you. I know you. Wait till you start making 24,000 in an hour, bro. Unreal. Just made 70 in minutes. I mean, I think the most I made in a day was like 150 grand a day or something. Right? So if you divided that by 2,450 divided by 24, 6 grand an hour. I mean, it's pretty close, but damn, I don't think I ever made 20 grand an hour. And Keith rejected the 4-hour 2 to the EMAs. It's May. Maybe we finally beat it to pump high again. Anyway, I'm not trying to brag, man. Like, good things have happened in my life. I hope they happen to you too. Just keep pushing. Keep believing in yourself and keep going. You know? What is BTCS? I feel like it thinks I'm in the trade. I'm not in the trade, right? Did we close that trade? Like I'm in another trade? Hold on. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm in demo. I'm like, wait, what's going on? I see. That's how fast I could flip. Dude, I forgot I'm in demo mode. I'm like, dude, Bitcoin's ripping now, doing damage. Let's get back to the real charts. But I just want to show you how, look, we made another nice gain there. And I never complain about selling early. It's always about being grateful. Someone comes and gives you a plate of fish. You don't complain that you didn't get steak. You say, dear Lord, thank you for the plate of fish in which I was given. Like, you don't use gifts as ways to complain. Imagine that. You didn't have something before. Now you have something and you whine about it. You can be critical of things and say, I'd like these adjusted. This isn't exactly how I desire it to be. But don't whine about stuff when you get stuff. You know what I mean? A lot of traders are doing that. They're in a trade. They sell for 200. And all they do is, oh, I could have made 600 bucks. That's all they do. They say all day, like their friend comes over, man, I was up 200, but I could have made 600. They see their dad, I was up 200, but I could have made 600. How about you just say, hey, man, I made my first, I made 200 bucks today. It was an up and down day. There was some more on the table, but I think I did good. I'm proud of what I did. Build yourself up. Be proud of what you did, man. There's some bear div here forming. I'm a little skeptical on the small time frames right now. So I like what I'm seeing on the daily. We do have this resistance. We keep hitting it many, many times. 64.3. 15-minute is I believe, going to be our guide again today. It's going to be the one. A little bit of bear div here. So it's going to do one of two things. It's going to make a head and shoulder and come back down to the bottom of the pattern. It only has a couple. Like, it's going to do this. It's going to make a falling wedge and really dump back down. Or it's going to start to go sideways and build itself back to the upside. Observing the 15-minute for the next 2 hours can present a beautiful entry by holding the probability of the pattern and telling you what you should be doing. Last night, Bitcoin said we should long it based on the 4-hour. I did. I made money. I didn't think about emotions. I didn't think about the Strait of Hormuz. I didn't think about Trump. I didn't get in my head about what was happening. I just traded the charts. The hardest thing to do right now is to not read headlines and trade the charts. Headlines are coming in. Things are affecting us. Don't get me wrong. Like, if they made peace of the Strait of Hormuz, like, it would be better for risk on assets immediately. Oil would dump. I'm not saying it's not, but the charts are showing us what's about to happen before it happens. So look, the S&P, I'm long on the S&P, and I see this thing about to explode. And I gave you guys the trade. I talked about it. I went over it, and I've given it many, many times. I think I'm honestly, my channel's interesting because I've given the S&P long, like here. When everyone said we were diving, no, I called the bottom here. I called the higher low there with the bounce up. I started drawing this when we were like halfway there. I called this bounce, if you remember, I called this magnanimous bounce. I put a thing, it's one of my biggest tweets. I said, like, listen, we're about to bounce. Everyone's shorting. Everyone thought shoulder, head, right shoulder. I called it, and then I drew this flag. I said we're going to consolidate it. I've been calling this like so spot on, and I do this every single Friday on the macro analysis video. It gives you so much information. Now I'm trading it because I'm sick of showing people that how it goes, and I'm like, now I'm going to trade it to prove to you that this stuff is spot on, you know. Anyway, show up with me, pay attention with me, get paid with me, learn with me, get educated with the Crypto Lifer. Follow me on X too. I'm always posting. I am very active on X all the time, and I give in a lot of cool information behind the scenes. I'm putting out these cool investing, like they got these like cool little gems, things you want to pay attention to, like institutions pay attention to miners and what's going on with the miners, you know? It's interesting. Like there's so much going on behind the scenes. Yeah, see? The miners, man. Yeah. So many people are just so mean and they don't stop, you know what I mean? It's insanity. Shout out to Wendy O, shout out to Richard Barry, shout out to awesome people, Lisa Edwards, also these cool people in the game. Always saying something or supporting me there on X. Funny, look at business and finance. A meme? Is that a Chinese meme trending today? You never know, man. I don't know it all. All right. So, look, that looks like some bear div. Looks like we'll kind of slow down. The RSI is a little high, too, as well. Had a nice pump today. And you take advantage. You sell big pumps. That's it. You sit in the grass. You wait for sideways price action. You sell big pumps, man. That's it. You buy when you're near the 21 and the 200. You sell when you're away from the 21 and the 200. You repeat it over and over again. You do it on multiple assets. You search the market far and wide. You make alerts. You have systems. You scan. You look. You plan. And you just keep believing in yourself. You eat right. You sleep well. During the day, you take care of yourself. You look into the sun. You say, thank you, dear Lord, for the day you've given me. Every day you find an hour to be in nature, whether with your kids, with alone, take a walk, something. You got to have that meditative moment. You can't be all work all the time, all day long, to the point of no return where you can't think straight. You got to map out where you're going. I know two guys. One guy's a hard worker. One guy's a hard worker. They work the same. They give themselves they bust their butt. They both work at 5. They go to sleep at 10. They bust their butt, man. One guy plans for the future. One guy maps out his mind. One guy sits there and manifests where he wants to go. He dreams of bigger movements. He dreams of having 10 guys working for him. He manifests 12 trucks, multiple jobs coming his way. And 10 years from now, he's in a different position. The other guy still has 2 or 3 workers and has the same small business 10 years from then. Both work extremely hard. Both bust their butt. One guy used manifestation and projection. And next thing you know, he's in a different place, making way more money, having way more free time, and being able to assist more people with his knowledge. That's the key. He's really good at what he does. He can train the right people and get it done at the right price. Think about it. When you're good at what you do, you are a gift to the earth. You are a gift to the world. When you know, like, I'm a trading teacher. I know I'm a great trading teacher. I know there's a lot of trading teachers out there that suck, that aren't that great. I don't know about them, but I know they're out there. So I'm proud of what I do and what I bring to the industry. Be proud of what you bring to any industry that you're a part of. Make it something, make it unique. Give it your all. Go all the way, baby. Let's get the likes up to the watchers. I would greatly appreciate it. We keep hitting that likes. I'm going to have more people on the stream. More stuff we can keep pushing. You know what I mean? More education we can keep helping you guys with. Like, I want, you know, when I push so many different ideas. I want to teach you the 21. I want to teach you the Fibonacci. I want to teach you the support of resistance. I want to show you consolidation. I want you to be able to pick out what I see. I want you to have lifer vision. But I can't do that if you don't meet me halfway and show up. And more people do that if you hit that like button and help me teach. So I appreciate that more than you would ever know. So look, I mean, a bit of a kind of a cup and handy there. I see it. I see the bear div though. So now what you do is you can also flag out the 1 minute. The 1 minute may get tight again and just, you know, present a better entry. You never know. When you're not a psychic, you could take advantage of whatever can happen. When you're a know-it-all and you tell yourself you know it all, then you can't take advantage of anything because you know what? You know it all. So you've got it. I can't believe my trip is coming to an end. Only 2 more weeks left. And then I got to really like scramble to get things put away. And like, it's crazy. I got to put away the streaming. I think about all the things I got to do. I get anxiety. I'm like, oh my God, I got to pack. I got to do this. Then because of my show, we don't leave here till 3. We get to the airport at like 4 or 5. We get to Tampa at like, I don't know, I think it's like 11 or 10 at night. And we get home at like, what, 12 or 1 at night. Seeing if the 1 minute can get tight here. It's going to be a doozy. That's in a few weeks. But whatever, it is what it is. And then I show up Saturday morning with my stream like, I'm going to be like, and we're going to like sleep all day in my house in the heat in Florida. I can already see it. It's a joy to live with 3 girls, but man, they're not all divas. They're good girls. But, you know, every girl can be a diva sometimes. And every once in a while, one of them has their day. Yes. And that means it's almost every other day. You know what I mean? Because there's... but God bless my girls, man. I love my daughters. They're amazing. They're awesome. So is there opportunity in these altcoins? Is there money to be had out here? Dude, look at my Chinese meme. I got it at 37, still holding. Dude, it just ripped to 80 cents. Look at that. Up 12% of the day. Amazing. Look at that. I'm up big on my coin, man. I'm still holding that thing. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know why it's hot. And I don't even know why I took a chance. But I guess I saw the Chinese numbers. I thought it was interesting. I like to do things a little off the little off the cuff there. This Pi coin, I always told you was shady. You stay away from it. It went from like $2 to 8 cents. I knew it was garbage. Anyway, God bless, someone told me it was just there to farm data out of your phone, like, and it was made by Stanford as like some data farming. I believe that, Anyway, God bless them. Who knows? I can't verify any of that. So, Aerodrone back at 51. Lit is the hot one, man. I still like Lit right now. A possible double bottom now. I like Audiera too, as I showed you so there's not much to trade today. As well as altcoins. VV token's a great buy long term. It went from 10 to 11. It's back at a 7. Let me show you the Fibonacci with VV. It's a great place to show you some fibs. Let's look at VVV. So you'll get a big pump. And I'll tell you, it usually takes about 2 to 3 months. That's what I've backtested in my time for a decent pullback to happen the way you want it, right? So let's take a look. VVV had a beautiful pump. Started at about $1 back here in January. And then February, it started to rip. March. And by April, we were flagging at $8. And while I'm at the conference, this is April right now, we start the flag. And it's kind of on my radar around here. I don't know if you remember, but I started looking at it here. And I saw it pump. And I was like, dang, man, that thing was at $5. Now it's at $10. I saw it double up. And I knew what it was. I knew it was like basically blockchain AI, kind of like ChatGPT, but more like they don't take as much of your, information. It's kind of more, it's anonymous ChatGPT through blockchain, right? And it has a use case. So it's a utility. And it's a new utility with AI involved. So it's not like an exchange token. You know what I mean? It's got something cool. It's got new age utility. Anyway, so I drew this green box somewhere around, I don't know, July 2nd or something, maybe even before that. And I started saying this is the accumulation zone for VVV. And once it comes back to that daily 200 or near it, that's going to be just a golden place. And I see it headed to 32 over time. It has a good use case in it. This is where you pull a good Fibonacci. You look at kind of the impulse here. You can see we pump, and then we came back down. That was the original move right there. So what I do is I zero in on that actual candle right there. I'm talking about this point right there. And I'm going to hit Alt F. And I'm going to drag this up. And you're going to see that we came kind of pretty close. Like we're kind of, and we could come to the 618. That's where the 200 moving average is. Some say you could skip this and go to there because that we kind of pumped, we came back, and there was a fib move there. Either way, I like this area. I mean, when we're getting closer to a 618, 786, and the 200 moving average is getting involved, you're getting closer to the discount area of price action. You have to have conviction here, and you have to have patience. You may buy, and it may go down a little bit. There may be a day where Bitcoin takes a dip on the Strait of Hormuz. Something might happen, and we have to kind of balance that out. But for the most part, we should be okay. And it shouldn't matter. So there, that's just one thing we want to, kind of make clear. So that I love this area of accumulation. Would I buy VVV right now over Bitcoin? You know, if I was more speculative than I used to be, or as I used to be, yes, possibly. I like Bitcoin right now, and I like swing. I may swing trade it when it starts to show me that it's going to do something big. You see what I'm saying? I may take a swing trade there and let it rip. Let's get back into weeks. We may be getting ourselves into the perpetual long here. Yet, look at this. Would you look at this now? It's absolutely amazing. So now you're kind of getting into a tighter flag here that may actually produce another Gwain. Gwains, baby, Gwains. It's Guan, baby, Guan. He's Guan, baby, Guan. That looks like we may be getting a pump right now. It's just aggressive the way that candle's starting to look. All chunky and ready to go. Like Campbell's Cappuccino right there. Sammy Chino. Campbell's Cappuccino over here. I like this pump. It looks like we could get a nice move here to 66,000 on this post July 4th week. A lot of people take vacation here too because it's a little cheaper than July 4th, right? So you wait, you know. Everyone wants the 4th. The prices are skyrocket high for vacation rentals and all sorts of stuff, especially up here in the Northeast. People don't want to have to take planes and travel. They just want to drive. Rhode Island, you know, all that. You know, there is a bear diff there. I'm going to hold off on taking the long. If it pumps, it pumps. Let it rip. But, it, you know, it's looking interesting. Let me take a look at the 1 minute there. I mean, the 1 minute suggests that I could get a rally here. We took this last. Was this last one we sold right there? See what we did? We sold that. Nothing happened after that sell. Let's take a gander. I'm not going to take the trade just yet. Well, let me just take a gander. 66,003. And the stop loss is going to be at about 63,488. Yeah, still like not good. You know, a 2-to-1 is not my favorite trade. I could raise it up to be near the 200. There we go. 63,693. Okay. I mean, that has some potential now. I could risk about what I just made. Like 280, then, you know, for another 800. Kind of like this idea. It goes up 700. I mean, it's a pretty big trade, actually. It'd be about a $64,000 or $65,000 trade. It's gone up to 291. Always watch that. See how that, you got to, like, tiny little movements change every piece of risk. I like 1 for 3. I risk half of what I just made on that last scalp to get another $300. I cut the risk in half. We only go up $700. I don't need it to rip. I'm not like betting on it. It's just another way to win. We just turned that 18 into $2,000. Now can we turn the $2,000 into 23? We're still going home with 19 or 18 no matter what happens after fee, about 1,800 after fees. So like, that's a good take on the day. I go for 500 to 3,000 a day. I don't try to be picky. I've made more than that. I've made $8,000 in a day before. I've made $10,000. I've lost $2,000, but I usually, you know, like yesterday, I lost about $1,500. It was a beatdown. It happens, man. But we were up $10,000 the week before, so like, oh well. I can handle it. It's the life of a trader, man. You can't get into the digits like that. You just got to be into the mode. If you keep going, you're going to win. If you stop, you're not going to win. Steve will do it. Funny, I watched a clip of him the other day. He goes, in gambling, you know, I don't think this is trading, but, you know, in his line of work, he was like, there's winners and there's quitters. You know, it's so funny, man. But you know what? It's almost true in everything in life. If you keep going, somehow you win. Look, he's probably in his lifetime lost more than he's won. But because he's a known gambler, he gets to sell content on gambling. It's kind of interesting, right? So he won anyway. It's like, because he stayed consistent with something, he won anyway. It didn't matter. Conor McGregor didn't really finish the fight, didn't do much. Still probably got paid to show up. There's still a contingency there. He showed up, he got injured. There was something in there that one of them got injured, and they still get paid. They're human beings. So their lawyers are smart. You know what I mean? So like, and it's he wouldn't have got paid if he didn't have years and years of being in the fighting world. He's put in the work. Doesn't mean you get to show up and do nothing and get paid and get injured. I'm just, you know, it's a rule of thumb in this universe. If you put your all into something, it will kind of take care of you. You know, Mike Tyson still gets interviews to this day, could make tons of money off who he is because he put all that work in the ring. People know who he is. He's put in the work. He's been challenged. The whole world knows that that man has been challenged. Like, so his story is gold. And he can tell it day in and day out, and all the new interesting things he does are awesome. Just watch it to see if I'll take the scalp. I'm kind of waiting on it. You see how I'm very particular about how I trade. The risk starts to change too with slight movements in price. $1 here, $1 there. 221 for 600 ain't bad. I'm not, So look, we've done a lot today. We've done the top 10 analysis for the monthly on down. We've looked at kind of how this has affected the daily time frame and what matters. And we saw that there's a giant double bottom and a bullish engulfer on the 4. There's a lot going on today. This is, you know, this could rising wedge itself right out of here. This could go parabolic. You know, rising wedges are known to go parabolic only 32% of the time. It's not the mojo. It's not the modus operandi. It doesn't happen, you know, but it can have a nice move here. Previous resistance, a bit of a support line. We get that bounce on that 21 right there in the next couple of minutes, and we start to go a little more sideways. This is a promising move. It breaks down and starts to fall down here, then we don't touch it. The next 2 minutes teach you the price action, and this happens on the daily. The daily will lose a level. Like, this is the daily. I don't think people realize this. The 1 minute is the daily time frame. And people are like, what are you talking about? No, it's not. It's the 1 minute. If you were to live 10,000 years old, the daily would be the 1 minute to you, man. Well, you only live 100 years, so the daily's pretty big. You get it? Your interpretation of time depends on how much time you've been given on this in this space now that we're in this round. You know, I don't know if you go to another round, what happens after death, you know. I believe in, I believe in afterlife. I believe in God. I believe in there's definitely some type of life after this life. I know that for sure. The way I've studied near-death experiences, the way people talk. They come back from having like these life-changing moments. They see their body from above. A friend of mine got real sick in the hospital. And he told me a story of how he knew that his brother had got him peanuts from the vending machine, even though he was out cold. How could he know? He's like, no, you got peanuts. Because he said, we don't have any food. He woke up and his brother said, I'm so sorry, I don't have any food for you. He said, yes, you do. You got peanuts. He goes, how do you know that? He's like, I saw you at the vending machine. And like, so when he was 5, somehow he left his body, could see what was happening inside the hospital, could see what was happening outside in the parking lot. Interesting, right? He told me the story. He told me, don't tell anybody. I don't want anyone thinking I'm crazy. He's like, but you seem like a cool dude that won't judge me. And so funny, you know? So many things have happened people can't fully explain. You got Edgar Cayce, right? Some of the greatest predictions in the world. If you go to the IRE, Institute of Research and Enlightenment in Virginia Beach, find out all about that. That'll blow your mind. There's more to life than trading, right? There's more information to be had. As we sit here and watch this, let's get into ETHBTC. This is a trade I keep talking about. Making more money on your Bitcoin with Bitcoin. And I said, you put 10 Bitcoin, you make 1 Bitcoin. You put 1 Bitcoin, you get 1.1 Bitcoin. And that's a cup and handle. Looks like it's getting ready for the bigger move. 1 hour looks interesting to me too as well. I like looking at this on the daily, on the bigger time frame. Once it crosses the 200, this is going to take its time for sure. It's not going to happen overnight. But it says somewhere by October, Ethereum could be really nicely up against Bitcoin. Let's do a top-down analysis on Ethereum, something I haven't done in a long time. You know, from the very beginning, just like we do on Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the monthly. Let's break it down. Do we have ETH USD all-time history index? Yeah. Okay, so far the monthly is showing signs of a bottom, just like it had here, 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 and here, right? Every time the monthly got green against a green, we actually put in a bottom. ETH actually is pretty, you know, one time there was wrong. These were on the way up with WEEX, and it was, but after red, and we had our first green candle, boom, boom, a little bit of a move there, and it's just looking pretty bullish, and you're very oversold. The stochastics RSI is the lowest it's been basically in the history of Ethereum. To me, it tells me there's something brewing here for ETH. Not the best pattern. Like, I don't have, I'm not like, oh my gosh. I almost feel like there's a trend line that needs to be brought back inside it a bit. Once you get above that, we can kind of be like, okay, we're back in the green there. Weird. It's like, it almost looks like cat ears that may not, Anyway, let's take a look at the 2 week. 2 weeks, gravitating back above the 200. The 2 week went below the 200. That's like the lowest you can get any asset in the world. Like below the 200. And it has a use case. I mean, to me, that's a buy. It just looks like if it comes up, what if Ethereum could do this? Like, what if it comes all the way up to 4,000, back to 220? It's wow. Anyway, we'll take it one step at a time. We'll concentrate on this. I'm looking for the shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. To me, great time to buy Ethereum. Below the 2 week 200 moving average. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, in my humble opinion. And it has a use case. You have giant firms buying, Bitwise buying billions of it. Tom Lee just obsessed. Right? He's not going to stop. Bit of a double bottom there. I see an inverted head and shoulder. I see this as one of the greatest buys for Ethereum in its life, but I could be wrong. And I see a bull div here too as well on the bigger time frames. 3 week chart looks good to me. It's lining up. And honestly, it just broke out as we speak. ETH broke out on the daily. Like, it broke out today. I mean, look at that. We gave you guys the trade. We didn't miss it. 4 hour, the 21 above the 200 is where you go in. Did Bitcoin just get a massive pump there? It did, out the flag. Look at that. It did just pump. I waited a second early and we got the move. I'd be up about almost, maybe $200 by now already on that. It looks like it's about to launch. 21 right there. The entry is always near the 21. I can't explain it. It's there on the 1 minute. It's there on the 1 hour. It's there on the 6 minute. It's there on the daily, the weekly, the monthly. It does not stop. I incessantly teach my style over and over again because it's so amazing. And again, I ate fat today. I already have 2 trades open on the weekly and the monthly. I was swing trading. I made my gains today. I'm good. Like, I don't need to be in a trade anymore. Now I can focus on helping the trading group, helping my family, doing what I got to do. I've been up in the group since 7 in the morning, 7:30. We've been grinding together. Shout out to all my lifers who took that call last night, who stayed with me no matter what, who have faith in me even if I lose a couple trades, man. Come on. You act like I'm the first trader in the world that might lose a couple trades. Like, let's get real. The other guys just don't show you when they lose. So when you see me lose, you're like, because it's cool not to show your losses, man. When I show losses, people are like, oh my gosh. It's like, shout out to anyone who took a shot on me, laughed at me. Even it's like, you think I give a dang when I drop my Lambo with a top down that you wrote a laugh emoji? Come on, man. Get real. I'm a self-made millionaire, born from a straight up, my dad was a straight up street gangster. Like, you have no idea who you're talking to. Don't be fooled by the tie and the glasses. You know what I'm saying? Pocket Square Sammy out here, traveling the world, man. So can this thing continue? I mean, it looks beautiful. It don't get really smaller than the 1 minute, the 21 there. I could see it happening. It did look like it could go parabolico. Parabolic, baby. I was about to long. I forgot I was about to long. Oh my God, there it goes. There it goes. And I'm showing you how my strategy works. Like, we can do this, and basically you can do it Monday night. Monday night's the best night. Tuesday night's a great night. And you see my show right now. This is what my show is for. 10 a.m. to 12. We're getting the pump here on a Tuesday. The best day to trade, Tuesday and Wednesday. My strategies play out on Tuesday and Wednesday like clockwork, man. Like, it's crazy how many more, Saturday, Sunday, Friday afternoon, Thursdays after 2. Like, sketchy liquidity. It doesn't always follow through. But man, the 21 gets that pump. We get that short squeeze all the time. Do I get a little FOMO? Sometimes, but that's fear of missing out, and that's a fake emotion acting real. We don't need to use fear. Says we can go either way, but man, you could tell the liquidity is starting to shift. Shorts are getting scared. We're getting closer to 65K yet again. WALSH is getting dovish. You know what I mean? And we can ask AI to give us a summary of Kevin WALSH's testimony, the highlights, the good parts, the bad parts, and then I'll post it to the trading group. And we don't need to sit there and watch the whole dang thing, right? AI can do it for us, man. That's bullish. Again, one more move to 66, and then I feel like the move is going to have to calm down at that point. Send it, baby. Send it on another wrist boom. Send that thing to the upside. 64,898 for Bitcoin. Quiet. It was quiet. A moment of silence for the shorts. Hey, man, it happens. We need people to short the market and get on the wrong side of the trade. When I win these trades, it means that a lot of retail just got banged out. You know that, right? It means a lot of people were short and they just got muffed. They just got completely muffled, man. You know what I mean? Just duffed, I should say. What is muffed? They got duffed. But yeah, I mean, that's, boom, 65,000. Looks like it's coming for BTC. That's the red right there waiting for us. $64,800 for BTC. 66,000 looks like it wants us as we climb further and higher. Let me jump onto the chat. I have not been into the chat as much today. It's been all price action. Wow, look at this. I love WALSH. He's great. Getting a little extended for the 1 hour 21. Yeah, he implied that he could bail out stablecoins because Kraken is a bank now and has been pro-deflecting all the crypto FUD like a champion. Amazing. You have to know when to long and when to short. There's a time for everything, 100%. No lemon water anymore. We'll get back to the lemon water. The lemons are too expensive here on the island. They're $1.30 a piece. I can't afford them. Seriously though. 3 for $1, man. Come on. Not $1.30 a lemon. Love for making that money. Woo, baby. Amen. Only the real understand mentors. Amen. Yeah, there's a lot of people that talk that talk, but they can't walk that walk. But they like to run their mouth though. Stops the profit. Lit is still the move. I like lit right now. Definitely something you want to pay attention to. Fly, bitty, fly. I mean, that was a nice pump again. I just keep buying these bump. Every time a big pump happens, you sell. Can't hurt, man. Can't hurt. Oil's been fun to trade, but let's take a look at what happened. Did oil take a beat down with this move, or did oil stay strong? I'll be honest, the dollar's getting beat to the ground, so there's going to be a time where it doesn't matter. Look, oil definitely, oil bounced from 68 back to 70, back to 80. Nice little bounce. I wouldn't be getting into oil the long term, man. I stay on the Bitcoin and accumulating Bitcoin, and I don't want to get distracted. But it did make a nice bounce. Has a rounded bottom, starting to flag out again. Wouldn't be surprised if it bounces back up to 86. Chat, we survived the bear market. Hey, don't say it just yet, but we're getting closer and closer every day, man. There's going to be a time where this whole market flips and we go back to the upside and my bottom call plays out. And everyone's like, that's the guy that called the bottom. He said it since, he said it was a 95% chance when fear hit 5 and he bought, and that's the guy that keeps buying. He bought 28K worth of Bitcoin yesterday. That's that guy, that crypto lifer guy. He doesn't go heavy leverage all the time. He goes heavy spot. He buys Bitcoin when the world is laughing at him. When no one believes it's hot, he buys more BTC. That's the guy. You should watch that channel. You should go to cryptolifer.com. You should find out more about that guy. Breaking out on the daily 50 MA right now. 2026 bottom watch, baby. We never missed a day during this is one of the most brutal psychological markets ever. The Trump coin coming out, taking all the liquidity out of the altcoins, the altcoin decimation, the October 10th liquidation event that just fleeced everybody and brought the prices lower than we've ever seen in our lives. Come on now. The war breaking out and going back, straight on news, open and closed, open and closed, open and closed. Gold skyrocketing like a meme coin. Oil pumping like a meme coin. Gold being dumped like a meme coin. Bitcoin pushing through all of it. And then AI coins and NVIDIA ripping to the upside. SanDisk going from like $100 to $2,000 a share. It's insane. We've witnessed some of the most insane because the market was, and then the dollar losing value over time. Let's take a look at that DXY that I go over every single week for you. And, you know, I see it just slumping off here. Looks like it's going to stay inside what looks to me as a descending triangle. Go sideways and then kind of dump down a little more. And that's just going to push up the prices of everything over time. Real estate will go up over time, right? Almost everything I own is long-term capital gains, DCA. That's what I'm saying, man. Is WALSH still alive?
If we get policy right, I think this body
Let's take a look. As we end towards the end of the stream, we might want to pop on WALSH as we just kind of see what he might end with here.
There's a lot of work to be done. You're new in your new role with the Fed, but we would like to be updated if, in fact, that deadline is not made. And then, in fact, when those rules will be promulgated, we're all anxiously awaiting. So appreciate your attention to that. Let me shift gears. There's been a lot of talk.
Just say
about
Bitcoin,
AI.
please.
Obviously, as any new technology, as you have said, brings forward opportunity, but also risk. One argument, of course, is the labor market could collapse. We heard that offered by a couple of our colleagues. Of course, as we look back at other technological cycles in the United States, we've actually seen standard of living increasing. Jevons paradox tells us that actually as technological cycles come through, we have opportunities for greater employment, in particular if we get the rules of the road right, as in many ways the United States has in previous technological cycles. How are you analyzing your role with full employment, in particular as it relates to this next technological wave?
if this cycle, Congressman, is like the previous positive technology shocks, the U.S. will be richer, will be more productive, there'll be more labor, there'll be more wages, there'll be more compensation. That is, if this follows prior trends. This technology shock is likely more significant. This is probably the biggest change in my adult lifetime because it's not just the creation of a new widget. What it is, it's changing the method of innovation and the speed of innovation. And I can't think of a country on earth as well positioned to take advantage of it. So that's on the one hand, but on the other hand, it can lead to disruption. My own best guess is that the advent of the technology will be augmenting existing work.
100%.
That employees that were there will be more productive. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't believe in the lump of labor fallacy. All the jobs that are there have already been created, and the technology will remove some. Well, it might be disruptive in the near term, but it'll create a lot of other jobs. Just to give one example from history, and then I'll close.
Please.
Who knew at the creation of the internet that the internet would create 1.5 million Uber and Lyft drivers? I certainly didn't. So I want to be very open-minded about the job producing elements of it. But we have a day job, and it's to deliver on price stability and full employment. I've asked this outside task force of a few incredible experts to think hard about it.
That was a nice pump, man.
Over various time horizons, and we'll keep our eye on making sure we deliver in every one of those time horizons to ensure stable prices and full employment as best
No one
we
knows
can.
how to tie a tie right, man.
Thank you for that. I think there really
This
is
guy's got it down.
optimism, although there is
That's how you
downside
do it,
risk. And I think
all right?
one of the imperative aspects here
Double
is that
Windsor every time,
we
man.
get the
Don't
rules
play
of the
games.
road right, so
Never
that innovation
one
and
wins.
development is occurring in the United States of America and not offshore. One of my big concerns was how the Biden administration looked at emerging technologies in the financial services space, was that they were pushing that innovation development offshore rather than encouraging that
100%.
here in the United States of America.
Yep.
With 30 seconds left, a lot has been said on the positive numbers that came out today. How does that shape your short-term and long-term outlook with the final 25 seconds?
So it's one data point. The reason I create a task force on data is I don't want to overread or cherry pick data. There might be some that look at this morning's data and say, oh, mission accomplished, everything is swell. That is not my view.
Cognizant of the time, appreciate you being here today, Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the ranking member of our subcommittee on financial institutions, Dr. Foster from Illinois. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and welcome, congratulations, and I hope that you cherish the scars from surviving the financial crisis that we both suffered through 20 years ago. I entered Congress and the Financial Services Committee in in March of 2008, where I was right in the front row there, about 2 meters from Ben Bernanke and Hank Paulson, as they came to Congress to ask for
Well, aren't you special?
$700 billion bailout.
Sorry.
Watching the sweat drip down Hank Paulson's forehead. So I hope you don't have to go through that. But one of the Fed's most important roles outside of monetary policy is the operation of the central bank swap lines. And these, as you know, were absolutely crucial in preventing the global financial crisis from becoming a global depression. And I think, to my mind, remains the major reason why the U.S. dollar is the world's indispensable reserve currency, in an area where, by the way, the Chinese are trying to become increasingly competitive. And so the problem, of course, is that right now we have in the White House an occupant who sees his every power as a means of rewarding his friends and punishing his enemies, domestic and foreign. We saw that an example in the Argentine bailout, where he implemented swap lines using the Treasury's Exchange Stabilization Fund. I think he pretty much maxed it out. But to reward one of his MAGA allies internationally with a $20 billion loan at well below market rates, or probably they couldn't get a loan from anyone at that point. And so the question.
Oh my God, yo!
When you and the FOMC
Jeez
are
Louise,
operating
man!
those lines,
My goodness,
particularly in
sorry.
times of crisis, do you see yourself as an agent of the president or as an independent actor?
He's not going to
Thank you,
answer that.
Congressman. I appreciate the question. The swap lines that we put in place in the 2008
Could be a flag
financial
back out
crisis,
there.
like you, I think, played a remarkable benefit in trying to mitigate the risks for the U.S. economy. And it reinforced that the dollar is the dominant currency in the world. Now, my judgment as central bank chief is to let the dollar policy be discussed by the Treasury Secretary and leave that to him. But historically speaking, I think the swap lines played a major role. The dollar liquidity swap lines that the Fed has put in place are about the conduct of monetary policy. So those are independent, but I just want to distinguish one thing.
We're just too far from the 21
The
on the 1
Treasury
hour.
has separate authorities and can use the exchange stabilization
Pay
fund
attention to this.
for
Nice,
swap
beautiful
lines
pump.
that are unrelated to our powers and
Beautiful
responsibilities.
pump.
But the Fed's the big dog in swap lines. I mean, the ESF is, I think it's somewhere a little bit north of 20 billion, I think, is the most that they could deploy, which they did.
Looks like we could pump
much,
now.
I have to say, not to the benefit of U.S. farmers that I represent, but anyway, he decided to bail out his friend in Argentina. But that was the Treasury, and that was different. So the question is, what happens if there is a crisis and you get a call from the president and says, I got this friend that I want you to bail out or punish by
What the
politically
heck?
allocating those swap lines? Is there an independence there that we have to protect as well?
So the independence in the conduct of monetary policy and everything that comes along with it is independent. But just to go back to the 2008 financial crisis, when all that happened, as you'll recall, the Treasury Secretary and the Fed Chairman, they often had to work in tandem. It's hard to distinguish in crisis times, separate from more benign times, exactly where those roles and responsibilities are. And when we put in those swap lines, when I was a governor at the Federal Reserve, I remember frequent discussions between the Treasury and the Federal Reserve. We have our independent authority, but I don't want to
We're looking
leave
for
you with
this
the
to pump
impression that
to
in 2008 or 9 we
65.489
did that
now.
without a discussion with the Treasury.
Okay, well, I just, be very careful of that because you are going to be coming under extreme pressure. Now, let's say, I
What a
applaud
loser.
all of your focus on data, which we talked
See,
about.
fear. See,
We
be
talked-
careful. That's fear.
and,
When people
in
use
particular,
fear on
your
you,
need
man,
for better
stay away from
real-time
people who
data.
use fear.
The
They
question
do it
is whether we
subtly,
could have
too.
Picked up the inflation earlier with more leading and
Like
real-time
that means he lives in
indicators, I
fear
think
because
is
he
a
uses
very
fear
valid
on
point.
people. Like,
I applaud you for having your committees investigate that. But does this interest also go into real-time regulatory information as well, which I think
Just
is
watching this
really
flag
gonna
now
be
on the 1
crucial
minute,
in a
it
world
could
where
play
there's,
out here.
24/7 banking operations. Banks and financial institutions can get in trouble fast. And so are you also going to be looking at the need and benefit for regulatory data on a faster timescale?
Absolutely. I've only been here for 7 weeks. The focus in those first 7 weeks, I must admit, is making sure that monetary policy gets back on track. But many of these lessons learned, like in data, how do we make real-time decisions isn't just as monetary policymakers, it's as supervisors and regulators. The world, as the discussion about AI suggested, the world's moving faster.
Gentleman's time is
The world's
expired.
accelerating, and the Fed has to move with that speed.
Thank you. Yield back.
Thank you.
Chair recognizes the chairman of our Subcommittee on National Security, Mr. Davidson from Ohio, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Hill. Chairman Walsh, thank you for your testimony today and frankly for leading at the Federal Reserve. You know, the Constitution gives Congress the responsibility for monetary policy, and since 1913, that's fallen to the Federal Reserve. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, what did we create when we created the Federal Reserve? And the fight over the shape of our monetary policies is as old as, Alexander Hamilton versus Andrew Jackson. So I think a lot of my constituents wonder,
I took a trade
what
here.
happened to the purchasing power?
100 for 400.
So could you share with us what you consider to be
High
definition
risk,
of
be
sound
careful.
money, and what's the state of that today?
Or
The
500
discussion we
almost.
had in your office was a lot of economic history about the first and central bank of the United States. I'm gratified that this is our third central bank in the United States, and it's more than 100 years old, and hopefully we've learned some lessons. One of those lessons is ensuring that we are as focused, at least as focused on the real economy as we are the financial assets and what's happening on Wall Street. This committee
Look at that. We might get a big pump here,
had
folks.
long committed to a 2% inflation target. That is our resolution. That's what I'm here to say and double down on. But as we discussed privately, I'll say publicly, my broader definition of price stability is a change in prices such that households and businesses don't have to worry about it, don't have to think about it. And the test today about whether inflation is too high is represented by this committee. Inflation is the dominant set of questions because it matters to households and businesses. I'd like the change in prices to be such that no one's talking about it. That was a definition from the Volcker era, and I dare say the Greenspan era. It should suggest to you that as I sit here today, this Fed will deliver price stability consistent with what we have been saying for several years, which is inflation shall be delivered
It's poking
at a level
out.
of 2%. That broader price stability objective is still one in the back of my mind. And
Sounds like
we'll
you're going
see
to
whether
cut the
there's
rate.
further
See,
reforms to be had.
this is
Yeah,
dovish.
thanks for clarifying, because if you measure it by what people are talking about, they know that the affordability isn't there. They know the purchasing power isn't there. And whether you put it in number like 2% or whatever, you look at, for the long run, it's been significantly higher than 2%. But it seems like one of the biggest roles of the Fed is to prevent deflation. And if you're going to have a number where the mean is 2%, and you've got a long period of time where you've had it well above 2%, you'd have to have some significant periods of time where it would be below that. But I wish you the best in your challenges, because my constituents are counting on us to get this right. It truly is one of the most consequential things for our country. Sound money is truly essential to defending freedom. So I think the stakes are really high. One of the things that we look at is the connection to the way that the market functions. The Federal Reserve covers massive fiscal deficits, and they certainly do that when they're the purchaser of treasuries. They load up their own balance sheet. In some ways, you don't get a price signal. What's the real 10-year? What's the real 30-year? Well, when the buyer is the Federal Reserve, you don't know whether they're creating a higher rate or preventing a higher rate from happening because it distorts the market.
Yep.
And we also talked about this regulatory role. There's a sort of bridge between the.
This might be the end. The one I was really far from the 21.
Monetary policy role.
I think I'm going to skip out on this
I wonder,
one.
when we think about what we created with this version of the Federal Reserve, do you consider the Federal
Yeah,
Reserve
take a
subject to
$50
executive
clip.
authority? I mean, when there are executive orders that are issued.
Yeah, I
let's
took a
say, just
$59 clip
relating
right
to the
there. I'm out.
regulatory side,
I'm out
not
for them.
monetary. I
At least
get,
probably till later in the
some of
afternoon.
Concerns on steering monetary policy. Presidents have always had an opinion on that. Well, if you put out a regulatory framework and the executive order relates to the regulatory structure of the Federal Reserve, is the Federal Reserve subject to executive orders?
So it's a good question. Let me say a word, if I can, in 53 seconds about that, and go back, if I can, to say something about what you were talking about in
I said the
setting
next red
prices
candle
rather
next to
than
agreement, we should
taking
short back to the
prices.
21.
First, as
You kind of
know,
flag
I'm
this
prepared
out.
to do everything I can to ensure the independent conduct of monetary policy.
We're coming back to the
I hear from all
21.
sorts of people.
We
but
got
we're
a
gonna
nice
call it
move.
the best we see it. On regulatory and supervisory policy, I do think it works best when the bank regulators, who you've all given authority to, when we can work in concert. I tend to not like it when there's a regulatory arbitrage, if an institution's trying to choose between whether to be regulated by the OCC, the FDIC, or the Fed. So I'm encouraged to have a robust discussion with my colleagues at other bank regulators about what we think is the right public policy. But if we think that the right public policy is different than theirs, we'll put it out for comment and notice, perhaps even as early as Saturday.
Gentleman's
of
time
the
is
exact.
Thank you. My time has expired, and I yield back.
Chair recognizes the ranking member of our subcommittee on national security, Ms. Beatty, also of Ohio, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, and to you, Chairman Walsh. Thank you for being here today. And let me first start out by thanking you for reaching out to have a dialogue with me, and I look forward to making that happen. Also, I certainly appreciate your response, particularly to Congressman Meeks and Congressman Foster, on you holding firm on independence and that you would protect the data and the law. That goes a long way with me. I want to start with a question about the housing market. As you are aware, the Federal Reserve monetary policy heavily influences the United States housing market through setting of benchmark interest rates that directly dictate
Facts.
the mortgage rates and housing affordability. Many homeowners were able to access mortgages at historically low interest rates during the pandemic, but rates have more than doubled since then, and I'm concerned about the impact this is having on first-time home buyers and minority borrowers in particular, who are also facing high home rates and insurance policies. Homeowners are exiting pandemic-related forbearances and also are struggling to enter into affordable repayment plans due to the high interest rates, which in many cases could push them into foreclosures. Now, I understand that the Fed can't increase housing supply or prevent foreclosures directly, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the impact of rate hikes on the housing market, especially for those more vulnerable homebuyers. And certainly, you know, we have a new amazing housing bill, the 21st century. I have to get that plug in, that I have 6 bills in that. So now I yield to you.
Thank you, Congressman. We stay out of housing policy, and as the debate that's been had in this room suggests, you all have a lot to say about what housing policy is going to be, but I don't want to suggest that we don't touch it. We don't.
I just like to call out the crazy
target
haters here
housing.
in
We
the
don't
chat. This guy
target
says
any
your beat trade is
particular
getting hit.
sector, but
Dude,
the
I'm down
decisions
$100
we make have
on
a
beat,
big
dude.
effect on housing.
Calm down. Like,
Housing
let it play
plays
out.
a
Like,
huge
if I get
role
liquidated, you
in
can say what you
most
want, but like, come on,
households'
dude.
family budgets,
It's
in their
$100.
savings.
Like, is that,
We
are you
recognize the
that
importance of
much of a
it.
brokey?
And rate hikes.
You think that's a loss?
Correct.
What's going on with you, man?
We, as I
You need
said
to get
in
your
my
money
opening
up, bro.
statement, I think broadly about the conduct of policy today. I sounded quite optimistic about what was happening in manufacturing, what was happening in output. But you heard me say a somewhat more cautious note about housing. And I think that's in part because monetary policy.
Wow, Dustin Calva, man. God
rates
bless
were
you, bro.
cut
Long
to
time.
extremely low levels provided what was thought of as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Underground crypto market. Shout out to
get the
anyone that
first
didn't
house.
gave today.
I would prefer a set of
Brian
monetary
Taylor.
policies that are not boom and bust, that don't just make one generation more fortunate about being able to afford their first home than the next. So what we can do in monetary policy is try to be clear about our objectives, deliver price stability in the context of full employment, and not react overtly to any data that happens one day or the next.
But
We
you'll
have
be
an effect
sensitive.
on long-term rates, and we take it very seriously.
And you'll be sensitive to the issues that I'm bringing up. Okay, in my last minute, let me now turn to fraud and scams, which is one of the top concerns that we've been dealing with lately in this committee and my subcommittee. As you know, payment frauds, including scams, often involve multiple institution and payment methods, and no single agency or entity can solve it.
I'm live
alone.
right now,
What
honey bun.
specific role do you
I'm live
believe
streaming,
the
honey
Fed
buddy.
Reserve
Daddy's
should
working, honey
play
bun.
in helping build a more
I'll be right there. You gotta
coordinated
give me a little bit.
cross-sector approach to frauds and scams?
Yeah, so it's another fair one.
So you're here with Daddy right now.
Financial Stability Oversight Council,
Sit
which
right
the
there.
Fed is a key member of.
Where you going?
Fraud is on that agenda. That committee is run by the Treasury Secretary under the law, but the Fed has equities there, and the Fed needs to ensure that, especially with this new generation of technologies, that the American people don't lose confidence in our payment system, don't lose confidence in the banking sector that we regulate. So we do have an important role to play there as well.
I'm gonna interrupt only because I have a few seconds later. I'm glad you mentioned this new generation. I've received feedback that better information sharing between financial institutions and online platforms is key. Do you agree?
Absolutely. Real-time information between lender and borrower is a way to make credit more available to more hardworking Americans.
Thank you, and I yield back.
Gentlewoman yields back. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Tennessee, Mr. Rose. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chairman Hill, and thanks to Ranking Member Waters for holding the important hearing, and Chair Walsh, thank you for being here with us today. Chairman Walsh, prices for agricultural inputs have, after experiencing a spike during the Biden inflation that began in 2021, have remained stubbornly high. Needless to say, families are also in my district were themselves hit by the rise in food prices that began under Biden and your predecessor in 2021. And grocery prices remain persistently high. This strains household budgets and makes it harder for people in my district to put food on the table while also paying for all of life's other necessities that are also more expensive.
Getting the pump back
following
up
that
there, though. It's not
inflationary
giving
period.
up just yet
We
here.
saw in the 1980s how hard it is to deal with persistent inflated prices and the difficult decisions it can place on the Fed to get and keep them under control. Can you please tell us what is the Fed doing?
The
And
1
what
hour,
do
though, you
you,
really just,
intend
no matter
to
what
do
happens
to
in these
ensure
small
that a
time frames, it'll
resurgence
be an
of
anomaly if
inflation
we
does
go
not
any
materialize?
really substantially higher.
So that's job number one. We cannot, I don't want to overstate, we cannot have a direct, immediate effect on short-term particular prices at the grocery store or in agricultural goods. But the job you gave us and the job we are resolute about accomplishing
That's a nice
is to
job.
make sure that any short-term changes in particular prices don't broaden out, don't change to a generalized change in the price level. Unfortunately, that's what's happened for the last 63 months, and those days have to be a thing of the past. I'll make one other note. Good economics, going back a couple of generations, talks about sticky prices. And the longer that
Just watching
prices
this.
have been above the inflation target, it's usually a bit harder to dislodge them and get them lower. Our job, my commitment to you, is to take sticky prices and to unstick them.
Thank you. I agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment, so thank you for your perspective. The Fed made some interesting judgment calls during the last administration when it came to its supervision and regulation decisions. Whether it was the war on digital assets, the crusade to make the Fed a climate regulator, or the use of reputation risk to debank disfavored firms and individuals, the Fed allowed itself to become
probably
an
to
instrument
keep-
of partisan
you use it to
actors
make
pursuing
Jenga
goals
to do it
beyond
nice
the
and neat,
powers
you know,
that
to neaten the
Congress has
blocks, maybe?
authorized. The Fed needs to stay in the lane that Congress has handed it and not veer off course whenever political winds shift. When the Fed does the latter, it undermines its standing in the eyes of Congress and the American people. Chairman, will you commit to getting the Fed back to truly sticking to its lane? And if so, how do you plan to do it?
So I can make that very commitment. Our credibility in monetary policy, our credibility as supervisors, our credibility in payments, these are all tied together. And the way we erode that credibility are two things. We wander outside of our lane into your lane or into the lane of another executive branch. We don't deliver on our promises. The first thing we can do is to deliver on our promises. And the second thing is, as you said more eloquently than I did, stick in our lane. That's what we're going to do.
Thank you again. Both the G7 and the administration have issued statements or executive orders on quantum computing, encouraging financial authorities and U.S. federal agencies to step up their timetable for transitioning to post-quantum computing encryption algorithms. With just a few years until experts warned that quantum computers could break widely used encryption algorithms, what is the Fed doing to address this future risk?
Yeah, so like you,
we're
Congressman,
missing
it's
three.
a future risk. Since I
Or there's an
graduated
extra.
from college more than 30 years ago, quantum computing was
There's
always
the dump
just a
there.
few
See,
years
that 1
away.
hour, you should, I'd be looking
hope
for the 1 hour to
we're-
short.
We're there this time because like in artificial intelligence, I think the United States can be a huge beneficiary. But like with AI, there's risks. I've spent quite a bit of time in my 7 short weeks at the Fed thinking about our vulnerabilities as an institution, thinking about if bad actors were to take technologies that are now at the frontier or might be with quantum in a few years and try to
Yes, baby.
pressure us to do harm to the perception of the U.S. or the Federal Reserve and the system. So we need to harden our technologies. We've got an enormous amount of talent at the Fed.
So
The world's
cool.
moving faster, and we've got to move fast
I
with it.
like it.
Thank you, Chairman Walsh. I see my time is about to expire, so Mr. Chairman, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The chair recognizes the ranking member of our task force on monetary policy, Mr. Vargas, California. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank the ranking member. Of course, I want to thank you, of course. Marsha, I appreciate, like everybody else, the communications that we had, and I want to be honest with you that I wish you the best success. I really do.
Thank you.
I think if you're successful, I think the Fed will be successful. And the Fed's
Oh, you
successful,
really?
I
It's
think
like he
our
really does.
economy
Like he's
will be
not supposed to.
successful.
Isn't that funny how
Our
Democrats
economy
talk?
is
It's
successful.
weird.
I
It's
think
like
the American people benefit.
he should just
So
say it
I'm
without
one
the
of the ones
caveat at
cheering
the
for
end.
you.
You know, it's like
And I hope
I
the
really
best
am
for
cheering for you. I know you don't think
Now,
I am because I'm a
have to
Dem,
say,
but
though,
I
I'm
am
glad
cheering
we're
for you.
not litigating the past, though. It seems that a lot of my colleagues like to. They talk about the past chair and some of the things that the previous president
Yes.
said. So I'm not going to litigate, but I would remind them that they passed their big ugly bill and put trillions of dollars in the deficit and the debt. They seem to forget that, so there's a little bit of amnesia there. They remember some things well, but they forget others. Now, one of the things that I have sort of strange in my background, or maybe not, I studied to be a Catholic priest for a long time. I was a Jesuit. And they make you do things that are kind of odd when you're starting off as a novice. One of the things they made me do is to take communion to people who were sick. And they would do it as an experiment to test you and to do different things. I remember one person very clearly. He was a man who had been blinded, I should say, at World War II. Wonderful guy. Lived in the Santa Barbara area. And I'd take communion to him. I had to sit there and listen to him for a long time. And he would just talk and talk and talk. And I'm thinking, I'm not getting anything out of this other. I'm sitting with this guy, which is fine. And I finally started listening to him. And I actually learned a whole lot from him. I understood why my novice master had sent me there. And one of the things he said was really interesting. I never forgot that. I said, yeah, people march around. And, you know, yeah, they look pretty in their uniform.
I'm falling asleep over here.
You never
Anyone
know
else?
how a person's going to react until they're under fire. And the reason I say that is, you know, you kind of mentioned it too. In ordinary times, it's easy. You know, when the crisis hits, that's when the issue is. That's why if you litigate the past, you know, yeah, okay, you can litigate the past, but the truth of the matter is things happened. The Great Depression, things happened. We were, you know, so blindly stuck on the gold standard and other things. And of course, we talk about the great wealth that the dot-com did. Well, I remember the dot-com bust too. $5 trillion disappeared just like that. And then of course you talked about the 2008 crisis when you were here. And all of a sudden there you had, you know, the government working together, the Fed chair and the Secretary of Treasury had to, because, you know, the economy was melting down. Now, I don't wish any of that upon you, but the truth is that you could get that. You could get an AI collapse. I mean, the Magnificent Seven have really driven the market.
So why do
tremendously,
we
and
sit here
sure,
and
there's
talk
great
about what could
opportunities.
happen every
I
time?
hope
Like, it's
that
like,
it
of
is
course, this
successful.
stuff could happen.
But if it's not, then I
Do you know what I
hope
mean?
that-
Like, it's kind
I
of
hope
like
that you also have the flexibility to figure things out. I mean, my
I
colleagues
am
love
talking to
talk
people right
about,
now. There's over
you know,
1,000
what
people watching me
Chairman
right now,
Powell
and
did.
you
They
don't even
seem
know
to
my little
forget that
baby
there was a
girl.
pandemic, and that we could have been slipping into
You didn't
a
see
depression if we hadn't
anybody.
done some of the things. They seem to forget too. The person who closed down the government was actually the economy was actually President Trump. It wasn't Biden. Everybody blames it on Biden. When I was here, it was Trump that did that. You know, the decision he made, I don't know if it was good or bad, but it was the decision he made under fire. So anyway, I wish you the best, but I do want to ask you about that. You know, what
Really
happens
quietly,
when,
say hello.
as they say, it all hits the fan? You know, how will
Thank
you
you.
react? Will you react in a way that's flexible, or will you react in a way that almost seems today almost robotic?
Well, I appreciate it. I
Robotic.
take that as a blessing that my 4 years will be ones of calm and peace and price stability and full employment. So I take it in the way it was granted. But we have to be prepared for shocks that are unanticipated. We have to be open-minded to things that might happen. So while it might not be common for the economics profession, we have to show a lot of imagination. My general view, again, coming out of the 2008 crisis, is we need to think ex ante about what we might do when the shocks happen. And it'd be okay to share with the world how we're buying insurance, how we're trying to protect the resiliency of the Fed systems, how we want the banking system, if times aren't always perfect.
The
to
1
be
hour is going to
strong
come
and
back to the
resilient and
21.
competitive.
You don't have to really
And in the
stress anything
conduct of
else. I think
monetary
that's about
policy,
90%
we
accurate.
want to anchor stable prices, deliver full employment, so if and when the shock happens, we have rebuilt the
I
credibility.
know this little flag looks interesting.
That may
huh?
have been somewhat lost in 63 months of higher prices. I am not relitigating the past. I know my colleagues have been trying to deliver on stable prices and full employment for a long time.
My time is up. The only
and I
thing I'd
intend to
say
do
is
so too.
They were honorable people, and I think they did the best they could, and I hope you do too. I know you're an honorable person. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes the
He's the
chair
best,
of
bro.
the House Small Business Committee, Mr. Williams of Texas, for 5 minutes.
Kevin
Thank you,
Bush,
Mr. Chairman, and also Chairman, congratulations to you. America's banking system is the engine of prosperity in this country, and it plays a critical role in creating opportunities. From the community banks that serve small towns and Main Street businesses
He's like, I'm reading
larger
whatever I was told to
institutions
read. And just
that
getting done
support
through
our
the day here
capital
now.
markets, access
Gonna
to
go
credit
through
is
these
essential
motions
for
here.
families, entrepreneurs, and job creators. And as a businessman who has owned and operated a small business for 57 years, I know firsthand how important it is to have a banking system that is both safe and accessible. And the American public and the American people expect a chance to pursue their American dream, and access to affordable credit is often what makes that possible.
This could pump here, folks.
Under the Biden administration, we saw proposed
This is the
regulations
one
that
weakness in
threaten
my
that dream,
system is the
by
1
making
minute
credit
could,
more
you know what I mean? And
expensive
that's where
and
you
harder
don't
to
go
obtain. So
hard at the
my
end
question would be,
to get back the
can you
money
tell
we
us how
already
you
made.
think the Federal Reserve's supervisory role can promote a safe and sound banking system while ensuring
having FOMO
businesses
is so
and
key.
families continue to have access to the credit they need to pursue the American dream?
It's a great question, Congressman. I'd say two broad things. One is we need a highly competitive, diversified banking system. This is the secret, one of the unheralded secrets of the U.S. economy. Our banking system is larger. The number of institutions of various sizes serve different constituencies.
Freaking out,
I
man.
think part of the reason why the U.S. has grown faster than our G7 and G20 colleagues is because the banking system here is fundamentally different. Secondly, what I would say about how we do that is we need to have tailored regulation that befits the kind of institution and the customers that they're treating. One size does not fit all. And finally, I'd say I am all for international coordination of banking standards. It is a useful effort so that we meet in Basel to try to come
Look at
to
that
some
thing.
international standards. But the Basel endgame is
Inverted
not
head and
America's
shoulder and
endgame. That is
Basel
not the
endgame.
Federal Reserve's endgame.
He said it.
Our endgame
The
is
Basel
ensuring that
endgame.
we have
That should
the
have been a
right
Kalshi.
rules that befits our economy so that we have a safe, sound, and competitive banking system. And anything we agree on with international counterparts have to be in service of the American economy.
Thank you. And as businesses depend on clear, consistent rules, when Congress passes a law, it reflects the will of the American people. And agencies like the Federal Reserve have a responsibility to faithfully carry out those laws, and regulatory certainty gives businesses like mine the confidence to invest, hire, and grow. So question would be, can you tell us how you intend to guide the Federal Reserve, and will you commit to ensuring the Fed carries out the laws of Congress?
This guy's
that
put me to
Congress
sleep,
passes
guys. I'm
without
sorry. I
expanding
want to
beyond
fall
its
asleep hearing him
statutory
talk. I'm like,
authority?
Yeah, I can make that commitment to you, Congressman, because that's how we keep politics out. That's how we stay independent in the conduct of monetary policy.
Mhm.
The Federal Reserve is not a repair shop for broken statutes, or we aren't empowered to go wander into areas outside of our remit. We've got a big and important job. I understand it, but it's bounded, and we have to stay inside of those bounds.
My last question real quick, Chairman. One
Oof.
lesson I've learned in business is that your word matters, and when you make a commitment, people expect you to follow through, and consumers' trust is earned by doing what they say you are going to do. So the Federal Open Market Committee has made a commitment to the American people to restore price stability. Families and small businesses across the country are trying to plan for the future, and they are coming and they're counting on the Federal Reserve.
They are
to deliver.
planning for the future.
So, Mr. Chairman, in the short time we have, what is your strategy for restoring price stability, and what confidence can you give the American people that the Federal Reserve
He's got a
will
task
achieve
force
its
for that,
price
man.
stability
Come on.
target?
So I can give you the commitment that we will deliver price stability. I was comforted at my very first meeting about a month ago. As I looked around the table of my 18 colleagues, there was no willingness to tolerate higher prices. There was a commitment that was unambiguous and unanimous that we're going to deliver. So the next question is, how are we going to deliver it? First is, I would say, make it very clear to you and the American people and to U.S. businesses that that is not a commitment we're going to walk away from, and we're not finding acceptable the higher inflation that has endured in this country for more than 5 years. The second thing that we're going to do is take responsibility. As I mentioned to one of your colleagues before, in our view, in my view, there is no anguish in central banking. This isn't saying, oh, I wish this or that were to happen. You gave us a lot of the tools to deliver on that commitment. We intend to do it. And the third and final thing I'll say is we have the tools to do it. We have a printing press, we have a balance sheet and interest rates. They have both provided significant accommodation and restrictiveness during different parts of the business cycle. And over the coming period, I'm going to ask our colleagues and have a good family fight about the extent and timing in which we would need to deploy those
Gentleman's
to
time
deliver
has
on the
expired.
promise.
Appreciate your leadership. I yield back.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Gottheimer. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chairman WALSH, congratulations again, and thank you for your service to our country. You stated that the use of AI technology
I'm
is,
walking away.
quote,
I'm
a
not getting
paradigm
in.
shift,
I think a
and that
short
the
on the
United
1
States
hour
would
is the
be,
best.
quote, a big winner
Best
in the
way to
medium
make money.
term. How is the use of
I would
AI
wait for the 1 hour to close a
impacted
red candle, though.
your view and the
Could still
future
pump,
of the
but,
global economy, and
I don't think it's
how
worth
is
the risk.
Fed reacting? How should it react, and especially vis-a-vis China and our other competitors?
So I don't view the U.S. economy as in a zero-sum game. I don't think that weakness abroad is good for the U.S. But what I do mean to say is if there was one thing that is the biggest driver of American prosperity, it's productivity. Productivity gives companies the ability to invest in new capital. Workers then have that new capital and can deliver and ultimately have higher real take-home wages. This is a supply shock in the United States. I have to admit it's happening faster than I would have projected 18 months or 2 years ago. We're seeing this technology and the capability of these models grow at exponential rates. Something like a hyper Moore's law is happening. I don't want to suggest that we know exactly how this is going to shake out, but the U.S. is best positioned to be a winner. But again, as I may have mentioned earlier, you gave us a job to deliver stable prices and full employment. What are the consequences? What are the implications of this positive technology shock to that? I've taken 3 experts. I've asked them to deliver their views to us over the coming 3 to 6 months. And then internally at the Fed, we're going to do a lot of work. I'm confident that at the end of the day, the U.S. is a winner, but it's not going to be a linear path, and I'm open-minded to challenges both to the full employment and price stability part of our mandate.
Right, because as part of that, I assume the workforce employment is going to be, what should our goals be? Should they shift? I assume those are the kind of questions you all are debating.
Yeah, we're debating just those questions, Congressman, and if I were to look over the last few months, it looks to me as though this technology hasn't displaced workers at this point. It's made them a bit more productive. And I say a bit because I think the productivity is in front of us. But a year or 2 from now, will these intelligence tokens be adding to the workforce or causing the workforce to temporarily be disrupted? That's something that we're very focused on as we think about what the economy looks like 12 and 18 months from now.
Thank you. We're seeing an unprecedented number of children using apps on their phones like prediction markets or sports books to gamble. Research is showing especially young people are very active in the past year. 11 to 17 have gambled in the last year, 36% of them. What is your view regarding possible insider trading on these markets? Are you thinking about that? Do you think we should be doing more to protect our children on these betting apps? Have you thought about that at all?
Well, I've thought about in 2 respects. First, when I was sort of a junior in junior high school and high school, I was the nerdiest kid probably in this room, so I wasn't wandering into those.
That's saying a lot. You should meet the chairman. Yeah. Go ahead.
But generally, the questions about the use of kids and smartphones and whether insider trading is happening and the rest, that is almost entirely outside of the Fed's jurisdiction. So I'll defer to other people around, both in the Congress and the executive branch, to take those on. I don't really have much more for you.
Let's pivot to something else. Modernizing and expanding certain aspects of the federal deposit insurance remains an important priority for me. will help ensure that small businesses remain stable and mainstream is able to thrive. What are your thoughts on mandated federal deposit insurance standards across the board for all banks? Should there be specific asset thresholds, a tiered system? Is there a middle ground in this debate?
Yeah, so we're going to follow the law, and we're not going to weigh in on what we think the right deposit insurance caps are. But I don't want to walk away from the question entirely. The FDIC insurance caps should be binding. That is, we need to have a supervisory and regulatory system such that if a few banks get in trouble, either myself or the Treasury Secretary don't have to, in unusual and exigent circumstances, provide backstops for everybody, including depositors. So the way I think about it is deposit insurance reform and proper deposit caps should be of a piece with strong reform-oriented supervision and regulation. So the law that you decide should be the right caps for individual deposits. That should be the case both in good times and bad.
Last question. Do you think that people in my district, young people, keep coming up to me and say they're not going to be able to afford a home, to be able to get a mortgage? Do you feel confident in your tenure people are going to still be able to afford to get a mortgage?
I'm a great believer in the American dream, and I know that a mortgage and first-time house is one important step to do that, and we'll do what we can to support it.
Thank you. I yield back. Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Congressman.
Gentleman yields back. Chair also wants to, as I call on the gentleman from South Carolina, just offer condolences to the gentleman from South Carolina and all the people of South Carolina on the loss of Senator Grant. And with that, the chair recognizes the gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Timmons, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you, Chairman Walsh, for appearing before the committee today. The Federal Reserve has an important responsibility to carry out the mission Congress assigned to it. Maintaining public confidence depends not only on sound economic policy, but also on staying within the statutory mandate. In recent years, many Americans question whether the Federal Reserve moved beyond that mission through actions involving climate-related financial regulation, digital assets, and reputational risk. I appreciate the steps that have been taken to refocus the institution on its core responsibilities. Looking ahead, it is important to ensure the Federal Reserve remains focused on the responsibilities Congress has given it. Chairman Walsh, what steps will you take to ensure that the Federal Reserve remains faithful to its statutory mandate and develops institutional guardrails that prevent future departures into area beyond
64.7 seems to be a flat point here.
So this is no time to wander, Congressman. The job you gave us that's clearly in the four walls of our authority in monetary policy and payments and supervision and regulation. We're early in a reform agenda.
May shift, man.
All of our assets, all of our resources, the remarkable talent of my colleagues need to be focused there. Good intentions are not enough, and it is not the culture of the Fed.
I'm not going to trade it
traditions
yet.
To wander into areas that are not our responsibility. And when we do, we sacrifice the credibility we need to accomplish our core tasks.
I'm getting a fridge delivered right now, so it's supposed to be 12:30 to 2:30. I don't know when they're going to be here, but I'd like to be there to see it happen.
And the Federal Reserve has not been immune. Following the financial crisis of 2008, the Federal Reserve assumed an increasingly expansive role through extraordinary monetary interventions. More recently, the institution became involved in matters such as climate-related financial.
He doesn't care. He had nothing to do with it. This is a waste of time. Come on, man.
Bank supervision, leading many to question whether these activities.
We get it. We know what you're getting at. It's not happening anymore. It's over, man.
The Federal Reserve to perform. Mission creep carries meaningful institutional cost. It diverts resources from core responsibilities, exposes agency actions to legal uncertainty, and risks undermining the Federal Reserve's credibility as an independent institution that derives its authority from Congress rather than from evolving policy preferences. A central bank is strongest when it exercises the authority Congress has granted with discipline and restraint. So, Chairman Walsh, as chairman, what principles
Thank you for all this word jargon, but like, come on, dude. Like, these people just like hearing what they have to say. It's like, this is great political prose. Just can't wait to get this out tomorrow. It's like, he sits there and he's like,
most important thing at the Federal Reserve, as I mentioned before, is not the printing press. It's our culture. And the best of the Fed's traditions tell us what our culture should be. Accountability, responsibility, and performance. By reiterating that, by reminding all of our colleagues that that's what drives us. I've started to do it in my first 7 weeks, but it's resonating. I hear it back in the hallways. I hear it at the cafeteria. And so at some level, people might think of this job as getting the answer right. Well,
I have pants on.
Decimal point. and occasionally we do have to wander there. But in order to deliver on what you've asked us to do, I've always thought that most of this job is the left of the decimal point. We're going to get the culture right. We're going to get the strategy right. We're going to get policy right. And we're going to get the organization right.
He has so
If
much
we can do
respect
those
that
big
he
things,
doesn't let
I
them
think the
turn
right
it into a
answer, the right
pinata
of the
fest
decimal point, I think,
like
will
all
be
the
a
other
lot
people.
easier.
You know, he's like, calm down.
Thank you
Like,
for that. I would also
What I
like to
do-
discuss inflation because maintaining price stability remains one
not
of the
long
Federal
here. I
Reserve's
just
most
wanna make that
important
clear.
responsibilities. American families have
Time is
experienced
up.
the highest inflation
He's drinking
rate in 4
Starbucks with the
decades.
PFAS in him, man.
Rising prices
It's going to his
reduce
brain,
purchasing power
bro.
and place
You know,
real restraint
most
on
people do it every day.
household
So bling,
budgets.
bling, bling, bling,
While
bling,
inflation
bling.
has come down from its peak, recent data suggests
It's not good for
inflationary
you, man.
pressures
Don't drink
remain
that
and
stuff.
price stability has not yet been fully restored. The people I represent should not have to endure another sustained period of elevated inflation. Stable prices are fundamental to long-term economic growth, household financial security, and confidence in our monetary system. Chairman Warsh, what is your assessment of the current inflation outlook, and what policies will the Federal Reserve pursue to ensure that restoring and maintaining price stability
here, right?
remains its foremost monetary
Damn,
policy?
man.
objective?
First, I agree, Congressman.
I
with
want to
your
finish this off
diagnosis.
for you guys.
For too long,
I got a
American
fridge coming.
households
Of course,
and
I got a fridge
businesses
coming
have
today.
suffered the
Dude, the
undue
fridge,
hardship
dude, the ice
of
thing
high
is starting to leak. It
inflation.
was, anyway.
This Fed will deliver price stability. This Fed has the power to do it. We have the tools to do it.
Dude, we could still
What I would
pump. It's
also
so crazy. They're not
say
giving up
is
on this flag. They
I'm not
want
in
to
the
suck
business
people
of
into this
trying to
flag.
prejudge what
It's hard not to
committee
get
that
in
I'm
there. Some
honored to
FOMO
lead
there.
decides. I think we need to have a continued good family fights on this subject. That'll start again in a couple of weeks. And when we have news for you about exactly the
This should be the last
methods
question,
of
right?
solving this problem,
Sounds like he's wrapping it up.
We'll be very clear about what they are, and so will the American people, to deliver price stability.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman yields back. The chair recognizes the gentlewoman from Massachusetts. Ms. Presley, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and welcome, Chair Warsh. Congratulations, and welcome to the Financial Services Committee. I represent the Massachusetts 7th Congressional District, a beautiful, dynamic district, and also one that is deeply unequal. In fact, in a 3-mile radius from Cambridge, home to your alma mater, to Roxbury, a historically Black, vibrant community in my district. That being said, median household income drops by $50,000 and life expectancy by 30 years. That's just in a 3-mile radius. And those inequities are not naturally occurring. They are man-made. They're the result of intentional and deliberate government action. So I'm here, and what guides me is the work to be just as intentional and just as deliberate in making sure that government works for all people. And I know we're just getting to know one another, but I hope I can count on your partnership in that mission, Mr. Chair. I'm going to begin with what should be an easy yes or no question. Are you committed to fulfilling the maximum employment requirement of the Federal Reserve's statutory mandate?
Congressman, absolutely. We have no disfavored part of the job that you gave us. Price stability and maximum employment are not an either-or proposition. I'm committed to both of them.
Well, that was my next question. If you viewed this mandate as equally important as the price stability mandate. Now, since Trump took office, hundreds of thousands of people have been pushed out of the federal workforce. The current unemployment rate is 4.2%, which is higher than when Biden left office. And if you look deeper into the data, Black unemployment writ large is at 6.6%. Now, the Federal Reserve semi-annual report highlights that Black people have continued to have higher unemployment rates and lower wages than white workers. This is a problem. Now, it's a problem for Black workers, it's a problem for the Black family, but it's a problem for everyone. It's a problem for workers like Teresa in my district, who despite being educated, qualified, and good at her job, was let go from her public health position due to government funding cuts. And with the state of HHS, our country needs to employ all of the public health experts that we can find. But this is also a problem for our national economy and financial stability. Let me illustrate what I mean. According to one report, Black Americans held a buying power of $1.6 trillion in 2020. Economists estimate that 2% of Black women being fired has led to $37 billion being lost in GDP spending. So when that money is lost, it impacts everyone. It impacts our small businesses that spur local economies and workforces. So the point is, when Black workers lose, everyone loses. So Chair Walsh, given the persistent racial disparities in unemployment, will you, as Federal Reserve Chair, commit to confronting these workforce challenges that Black workers are forced to endure?
So Congresswoman, I'll say this, which is the U.S. can ill afford to leave any individuals behind. The economic opportunity, which is essential for America's growth trajectory over the next 5 and 10 years, means that every American needs to have opportunities to be productive. And I believe, unlike some in the economics profession, that productivity-led economic growth is a good thing, not a bad thing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And I'm hopeful that the Fed, we can be supportive of opportunities for economic growth.
And I want to say specifically for Black workers, because of a problem of this magnitude, there are 700,000 unemployed Black women right now. If a problem of that magnitude was happening to any other group, we would do the analysis and we would have a plan. So I'm going to ask of you what I asked of your predecessor, for you to come and brief the Congressional Black Caucus on your strategies and efforts specifically to the Black worker, given the disparate impact. You know, you've talked about your refusal to tolerate a persistent high inflation. I need the same rigor, the same vigor, and the same commitment when it comes to the Black worker. It's already a part of your mandate.
So American workers, no matter their backgrounds, have my commitment to do what we can at the Federal Reserve to make sure they have all the opportunities in front of them, regardless of any characteristic.
Well, Mr. Chair, experts believe we need targeted structural efforts to address unemployment disparities. So I'm asking
Gentlewoman's
for
time is
focus.
expired, and
Okay.
invite the chairman to answer your question.
Should have started with that right off the beginning. She went, played
Chair
games, and
recognizes the chair
then
of
went
our
with her main
subcommittee
point at
on
the end, got cut
oversight
off.
and
Like, she could have just
investigation.
started with
Mr.
that main
Buser of
point.
Pennsylvania.
But she
You're
did this
recognized
whole
for
song and dance. These people like hearing themselves talk, man.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We also appreciate very much yours and Vice Chair Bowman's work on fraud and scams. We have a report coming out next week from my subcommittee, which we'll be looking forward to sharing with you. As you know, CPI came out this morning. Well, underestimate, we could say. For all intents and purposes, the underlying economy is strong. The small businesses, community banks I speak to throughout, for the most part, throughout Pennsylvania, report steady demand and positive business outlooks. As well, the businesses are profitable. Tax revenues for the federal government are up 6.9% in 2026, which is phenomenal. In Pennsylvania, by the way, they're up 2.4% this last fiscal year.
Like still
and
hanging
they're
around.
glowing about that, raving about that. So federal revenues are way up.
Not over yet.
Shows businesses, again, are profitable. Many of us in this committee have made the case for quite a while now that the Fed needs to review the big picture. As
Oh, they
you've
put
been,
those straps
making,
on. Jesus.
Commentary towards supply side growth and lower
Yeah,
interest
still,
rates
man.
are not in conflict. They are, in fact, very often complementary. As lower interest rates encourage more cap investment, they can put downward pressure on inflation simply by using the well-known
Exactly. They
equation, let's supply
incentivize them
exceeds
to get
demand,
welfare.
prices
100%.
down.
I didn't want to
And-
say it,
and,
but that's
I'm
it, man.
glad you appreciate that very much. So, Mr. Chairman Walsh, you've created these task forces, which we're all pleased to see, I think. And will you express how these task forces will help achieve the Fed's
Great
goal
question. How to put your
2%
indicators on
inflation?
WEEX.
Thank you, Congressman. I'd be happy to.
Hit Trading View.
The 5 task
Go here to here.
forces are
Type in
an attempt
MA.
to go back to first
Click it
principles.
twice.
Ask whether the way the Fed has conducted business
first
for more than
one,
a generation,
make it
the way
white.
we've gathered data,
Make
the
the
way our
inputs 21.
models make forecasts about what's going to happen next, our
Second one,
understanding
make
of
it yellow.
changes in productivity and changes in the supply
200 for
side.
these two
These
inputs,
are
the
all
length
big
and the smoothing
fundamental
lane.
questions.
You're going to have the yellow and the
I
white.
think we are better equipped to make smarter decisions on policy so that we can deliver price stability
you can
and
type in
full
here,
employment. If we get the benefit
RSI,
of,
and click on relative
some
and stochastics.
outside views.
And there you go.
We're going to then decide what to do with them. We're going to make the decisions. We're not
I
going
feel
to
like I have to lose this trade. It looks
But
too
if
good.
there was ever a reason after a long period of inflation that was too high to go back to first principles, this is it. And like
I'm
you,
gonna risk the
while
two,
I
right? I'm just gonna go
reviewed
for
the
it.
data that came out this
This looks too
morning
good. I know
with
the 1 minute
CPI,
isn't good
and
though,
it
but
was-
dang, man.
It was
That's a
positive
bullpen.
relative to expectations. I'm not for cherry picking. I am not going to show up here and say mission accomplished. And what I'd say is there's plenty of work to do. And I
should dump on me, though. I shouldn't win this trade based on the 1 hour.
Data to inform our decision making. We have a task force that's going to be focused on doing just that.
And I know you're also going to utilize the balance sheet process as well. You've critiqued the QE planning or
Yeah, there it
activities
is, starting to
for a
drop on
while.
me.
You've stated you plan to reduce.
It's very
the
high
Fed's
risk, though.
balance
I wouldn't
sheet.
put
How
all
do you
your
plan to
beans
do
in this
that?
trade.
What
Be
role
careful. Don't do what I'm
does the
doing,
private
please.
sector play?
I already made money today. I'm risking small
On the
amounts.
balance
Don't-
sheet, again, I don't want to prejudge
You may not be in the
the
same position as
conclusions of
me
the
to
task
take this
force,
trade.
and I can't speak for 18 of my other colleagues. As a first approximation, I'll say now what I've been thinking for years. In normal times, the Federal Reserve should be a price taker, not a price maker. We should be observing what is the price for a 10-year treasury between a willing buyer and willing seller. We shouldn't have our thumb generally on the scale. Now, when it comes to a crisis, I don't want to suggest that we're going to be able to sit on the sidelines. I would hope we could, but I can't say that for sure. The Fed balance sheet, both its size and duration, are worthy of a very worthwhile review. I'm inclined to think that there are better regimes we can go to, but we're not going to do it without due consultation with the markets and with members of this committee.
Right, and certainly the reserve requirements of banks and all may put this in the hands more so of the private sector.
Wow, it's getting real
as,
tight,
as I think
folks.
You believe. Chairman Greenspan.
I'm going to liquidate a bunch of longer shorts in the next 10 minutes. I'll tell you
recognized
that.
the
Something's
productivity
coming.
Boom from computers and the internet was
Look at
putting
that
downward
tightness.
pressure on inflation, and he cut rates based
Ooh-wee.
on that data.
I'm long, man. I got to take a
Today, I
chop.
present that same kind of
Make another
opportunity
700. That'll be great. Almost $3,000 today.
If you've seen one
Come on
productivity
now.
boom, you've seen one productivity boom.
Send it, baby. And I'm
I
just
take
using the
very
21 again. I'm
seriously
using
the
my
productivity
signals.
booms that we've had.
I'm not doing anything
Generally,
different.
If you look at the surge
That looks
in
like it's about to go, man.
productivity
He's so
elsewhere
dovish, baby.
in the
Send it,
United
Kevin.
States,
Send it.
we tend to move
Kevin!
from a relatively
Send it,
low
Kevin.
productivity
Let's
realm
go.
environment where productivity grows about 1.5% a year. And then for a decade or longer, we
Gentleman's
moved
time has expired.
to a higher productivity realm.
Bingo.
I think this could be that opportunity, but I can't say it for certain as of yet. Thank you.
The chair recognizes the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Caston.
That'd funny if they had sound effects like that.
Chairman,
Like,
Chair Warsh,
you're
nice
out.
to see you
Bing.
here. Welcome.
Bing.
I want to start with just a purely academic question for you, just on economic theory. But
I don't know if
but
this
with
goes-
some context. You talked to Dr. Foster about
It's going all night,
experience
baby.
in the 2008 downturn. I was not
I'm
here in
getting a pump right
2008.
now, though. So
I remember in 2020
let's see what happens.
Former Chair Bernanke came in.
Still
as
got
someone
700
who had
beautiful souls
some
here on the live. One of the bigger
experience
streams. I
steering
mean,
through a crisis.
there's other streams. They don't
Remember
even
that
get this many
with
people. This is the end
beginning
of our
March
stream.
2020
We get more than the
saying
biggest streams.
We've never seen unemployment spike this
Maybe
quickly
is the
since-
one. You think
since
it's the
Great
one, Stas?
Depression. We've never seen GDP collapse.
Stas,
as
you think it's the
quickly since
one,
Great
man?
Depression. And here's someone who steered the economy through an $800 billion bailout, which at the time seemed like a big number. I mention that, number one, because I hope you don't find yourself in the future being asked to address Congress based on your own expertise steering through through a crisis, although certainly Chair Powell got his chance there as well. But the difference in the way that we responded to COVID and the way we responded to 2008 was a much heavier fiscal stimulus, whereas 2008 crisis was, largely QE and monetary.
I know.
$800
Why are
billion
we
worth.
talking? Can we just ask the guy a
We
question
also
and move
recovered
on?
from
No one
COVID
hears that cares what you have to
not only
say.
faster than everybody expected, but faster than all of our peers. And should we find ourselves?
It's like this is the first time these guys ever get to talk in front of a camera, and they're like, "Oh
as an
man."
economist, how do you think about the right shaping of fiscal and monetary policy? Obviously, you only have purview over one of those, but your voice is going to matter.
As I said in an analogy to one of your colleagues, I'll say it here. If you've seen
Chapow.
one financial crisis, you've seen
Chirpow.
one financial crisis. So I'm careful about extrapolating. More generally, I would say the response to the 2020 pandemic had some very similar areas with respect to monetary policy. That is, the central bankers in 2020 took some of the toolkit that we innovated on in 2008 or 2009, and they provided overwhelming liquidity. That's in our remit in crises, not in more normal times. My judgment in 2008, judgment in 2020, and if we were to have a crisis when you and I are in these roles, I would be describing to you what the central bank can do. I would also try to describe to you the limits of our authority, such that you have the opportunity to make whatever decisions you think are right. But I'm going to make a promise to you now that I would hope to hold to then, which is the fiscal policy response is going to be the decision of you and the administration. We're going to do our very best to steer clear of that.
Well, and I appreciate that, and I think none of us want to go there again, but we also want to make sure that, monetary policy can target some sectors of our economy, not the others. We need to work together. On a similar subject, I want to pivot, and I was spinning through, and I love these reports all the time. Send them. It's always good reading. I want to talk specifically about Figure 1 and Figure 43. Figure 1 shows U.S. CPI over the last decade or so. Figure 43 shows global CPI trends. And what's very clear is that U.S. inflation picks up immediately after Liberation Day on account of the tariffs. Global inflation picks up after the Iran war. You can see the spike. So, we had inflation generally coming down after 2020, starts picking up on account of tariff policy, and then starts picking up again on account of foreign policy in the United States. And you can just see in those charts what was domestic and what was international. How effective is monetary policy when it's fighting with fiscal policy or foreign policy or economic policy? Because I don't really understand the theory of the case that interest rates undo tariffs.
This guy's putting me to sleep, guys. I don't know how much longer I can handle this.
So, how concerned
this is tough for me.
Should we be about
this guy's boring, man?
Monetary policy that's got a different set of goals than the outcomes of fiscal policy right now.
So generally, Congressman, I'd say a couple things. First, we are takers of the fiscal policy decisions that you and your colleagues make. We will take that into account. I'm not suggesting that we act in isolation. What I am
to be clear, we didn't vote on tariffs or the Iran war.
But the policies that are made of the executive branch of Congress, we're aware of them. We have a wide lens.
Come on, man.
But we then take those on board and make whatever decisions we best can consistent with our remit.
Do you have the tools to counter them?
We have tools that are powerful. Whether they're working at cross purposes or consistent with them is never easy to know in real time. But let me
we're
make one
still
other
sideways
important
now here
distinction.
on this 1 minute.
Military conflicts overseas, changes in trade policy, changes in immigration policy, those have an effect and we can take them into account. Often they have an effect on prices in the short term.
Let me out of the
business
seat,
is whether
please.
those prices in the short
Dang,
term
man.
end up
3
spreading
hours
out.
straight. I
And
can't
that's
take it
our
anymore.
We're out of time, but let's
Thank you very much.
let's stay coordinated would be my request.
Chair recognizes the gentlewoman from
All right, guys.
California.
I'm
Ms.
calling
Tam,
it.
who also chairs our Asia
I can't
Pacific
handle. I
Subcommittee
can't
on
today.
House
My
Policy.
ADHD is
Recognized
getting the
for
best of
5
me.
minutes.
I can't take it anymore. It's like
Chairman and Ranking
I gotta
Member, for
bounce.
hosting
I love you
today's
all.
hearing.
God bless you all. If you want to keep
Chairman
watching this stuff, keep watching it.
Welcome. This
I'm
hearing
cooked.
is your first
As it
appearance
is,
for
it's
our
the summer.
committee.
I am
Your,
cooked. I'm still in this long.
Congratulations.
It shouldn't play out based on my 1 hour.
Earlier
The 1
this
hour is
year,
so
you may have
overbought
heard
and too far for the 21.
Payments, Access
So,
and Consumer
with that being
Efficiency
said, I
Act,
love you
PACE
all.
Act,
If you take this note, there's a high risk on it. I still may get a pump. I'm risking a small
because I
amount
kept
what I
hearing
already
from
made.
my
Remember that.
constituents in Orange,
Stay
Riverside,
amazing.
Sacramento
Stay fresh.
counties.
Let me turn her off. God bless you all. Thank you so much for jumping on into the live. I appreciate you all. I'll be back tomorrow for another awesome and amazing live stream. I can't keep watching this. It was painful. I love you all. God bless you all. Kevin Warsh is the man, though. He does a really good job. I'll see you guys all tomorrow for another beautiful and amazing live stream. Stay in the Discord for more. I gave an amazing call last night. You would have missed it, and it's only for less than $3 a day, man. I made close to $2,000. Imagine making $2,000 a day. Pretty sweet, man. I used to make $1,800 a week. Now I can make it overnight. I can show you how. The secret to success is getting started, though.